Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. And tonight we have the 2023 NBA playoffs play-in game live reaction and watch party to the number 10 seed Oklahoma City Thunder and the 9 seed New Orleans Pelicans. Sorry I'm a little late, guys. The other game just ended between the Raptors and the Bulls, and the Chicago Bulls, the first 10 seed to win in the play-in game. They upset the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are going home, even though they were already at home and they lost on their own floor. But now the Bulls are moving on, and they're going to be playing the Miami Heat. We got the New Orleans Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's 9-4 New Orleans Pelicans right now. A lot of people think that the winner of this game has a great chance to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's who the winner of this game will play because the Timberwolves lost the other night. And the Timberwolves are really struggling right now. So if the Timberwolves can't get it together, Rudy Gobert will be back. But if they don't play well and Anthony Edwards doesn't play better than they did the other night, then they'll have a really, really not great chance of being able to win that game. And you could have the Oklahoma City Thunder or the New Orleans Pelicans, making the NBA playoffs. But now it's 10-6. The New Orleans Pelicans, they're up 10-6 right now on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are a solid team, but they are led by far by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who averages 31.4 points per game, which is insane. He's the youngest player to do that, average over 30 points. He is an elite player, but he kind of reminds me of Devin Booker when he was at the Suns a few years ago, back when the Suns were not a good basketball team. He was basically doing everything overall for the Phoenix Suns. And then when they finally got other good players like Chris Paul, and they also got DeAndre Ayton, and now they got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker's not having to do as much. So that's what the Thunder have with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. With the New Orleans Pelicans, they're more of a balanced team. Obviously, Zion Williamson, he's out like he unfortunately usually is. He's a great player, but he's not available. Availability is the best ability, and unfortunately, Zion Williamson is not available that often. But you do have Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. They're a good tag team. Trey Murphy, Herbert Jones, they have some solid players. With Zion Williamson, he's been out for 46 straight games, but it doesn't look like the Pelicans need him right now. They're up 12-7 on the Thunder. Jalen Williams is driving into the lane for the Thunder, and he misses a shot. And now you've got the Thunder with a three at the top of the key, and he misses as well. The other Jalen Williams. You got two Jalen Williams on the Thunder. It's hilarious. V Ohio State says, "What's up? Thanks for being here." And he also says, "My Bulls got a huge comeback win for me on my birthday. Great birthday present for me. Happy birthday, V Ohio State, for the win. And thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm glad the Chicago Bulls were able to win for you on your birthday. Tough loss for the Raptors. That is just unfortunate for them, losing on their own floor like that. They were a really good team, but that was a horrible loss the way they lost that game. Should have won, but it is what it is. It's 12-7 New Orleans over Oklahoma City. 7:50 to go in the first. Pelicans with the ball. Trey Murphy, the third, fakes the three, and he misses. Almost got it to go, but couldn't get it. Jonas, he gets the offensive rebound for the Pelicans. Jonas Valanciunas, he's a solid player. Hard last name to pronounce, but a good player overall. And Herbert Jones down low. What a play for the Pelicans. The Ohio State says, "Thank you. Levine was incredible, and we got out rebounded Bow and shot terribly from three and still won." You're welcome, man. Really 100% happy birthday. It's awesome when you get a good birthday present like that. And I just really appreciate you being here for this game. And like you said, Zach LaVine was awesome the way he played. He had like 38, 39 points, something like that. But also the Raptors shot poorly at the foul line. They were like 18 of 36 at the line. That was a big reason why the Bulls were able to get the win, because of the fact that the Raptors shot so poorly from the foul line. And also you say as well, we won because Levine's wrong play, and the Raptors missing 18 free throws. There you go. You just said it. I didn't think we were going to win this game. I didn't think so either. I thought the Raptors just had a lot of talent, but unfortunately, talent doesn't always win games, and you've got to make shots. Lagoons Dort has 8 quick points for the Pelicans, though. Or for the Thunder, I mean. He's actually having a really good start to the game. He's got 8 of the first 10 for the Thunder. Lagoons Dort, he was undrafted out of Arizona State, and he is a player that the Thunder really like. They gave him a contract extension. The Pelicans probably wish they had him. That's how good of a player he is. A lot of teams would, like to have a player like Lagoons Dort, who has that chip on his shoulder mentality due to the fact that he was an undrafted free agent, and he's done some great things for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now Brandon Ingram, he's up to 6 points. For the Pelicans, he hits 2 free throws there at 16-10. Jalen Williams for 3 for the Thunder. He can't make the shot. And Brandon Ingram, who's having a fantastic season for the Pelicans, especially with Zion Williamson out, he gets the rebound. So it's going to be really interesting to see Can the Thunder slow down Brandon Ingram? And on the other end, Herb Jones out of Alabama with the big three. New Orleans has some talent. I think that's why they were able to withstand not having Zion, because they have so many other good players. Obviously, they barely made the playoffs, but they're looking really good early, up 19-10 over Oklahoma City. The Thunder have a solid team, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have a huge game if the Thunder want to have a chance to win. Because overall, Lagoons Dort, really solid player, but it's not going to be enough. Josh Giddey as well. It's not going to be enough if they're the only ones scoring a lot of points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will probably have to have at least 25 or 30 points for the Thunder to have a chance. The Ohio State says, I think we have a good chance at the Heat on Friday. We were 3-0 versus the Heat in the regular season and 2-0 at Miami. That's very interesting, the Ohio State. And I think overall, looking at that situation, it's very tough to sweep a team. Technically, the Bulls have already done it, but you got to do it again. That's going to be really difficult. But if they do, they'll be in the playoffs, and that'll be awesome for you for sure. And I do agree they have a really good chance, especially the way the Heat played in their last game, but you never know. Maybe the Heat will get their act together in the next game. Jeff, thanks for being here. Says, I'm here. Yeah, that was a fantastic game, and this one should be great too. All these games are great, specifically when they're like this, when all the stakes are on the line. You have to win, and if you don't, you're out. It's like March Madness. That's why people love March Madness, because if you don't win, then you're out. One bad game, you could be the most talented team in the whole entire tournament. And if you don't win and you play bad for one game, you're automatically out. No more chances. It's very unfortunate the way tournaments like that work, because a lot of great teams don't get to advance far. But overall, it also adds to the intrigue, because it doesn't make, who everybody thinks is going to win have a automatic chance that they are going to win. When you have a 7-game series, usually the better team gets the job done. And I think that overall, looking at the playing game, it kind of offers you a bit of that March Madness feel, and the fact that you only have one crack at it if you're the 9 or 10 seed, and you get 2 chances if you are the 7 or 8 seed. The Ohio State says, whoever wins versus Bulls at Heat on Friday will get destroyed by the Bucks, but I don't care. It will be great for the Bulls to win 2 playing games to get into the playoffs. Yeah, that'll be fantastic for sure. It would be really cool to see the Bulls, have had some down seasons lately. And I think overall, to your point, the Bucks are really good. And I know that they've been really good for a while, so it's not really a novelty anymore. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is almost unstoppable, and they just have a really solid team all around. It's going to be very difficult for either team to be able to beat the Bucks in a 7-game series. If it was a single elimination tournament like in March Madness, I could see the Bulls or the Heat beating the Bucks in one game, but I don't think they can win in a 7-game series either. You never know, but the 7-game series definitely is tailored for the better team. And in March Madness, it's just due to chaos and craziness. And the play-in's the exact same way. Jeff says, yeah, they played their butts off. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Zach LaVine was insane. Zach LaVine's a great player. And I think sometimes he's forgotten about when talking about some of the better players in the NBA. But he's really solid, and he showed, his absolute best, the type player that he is against the Raptors. He was fantastic. And unlike the Raptors, who missed tons of free throws, you had the Bulls making theirs. And sometimes free throws at the end of the day is what gets you wins. The Ohio State says, yeah, Bucks will sweep or win in 5 versus the Bulls or Heat. Yeah, more than likely, again, hopefully all of the series are really competitive. You would love to see a competitive NBA playoffs, all the games going down to the 7th game. Usually doesn't happen, especially in the first round, type games when you have the 8 and the 1 and the 7 and the 2 seeds. But hopefully they're all competitive. Edwards here. Thanks for being here, Edwards. He says the Heat and the Bulls are playing to see who gets swept by the Bucks. Yeah, that seems to be the theme here. Everybody's leaning that way. Again, the Bucks are a great basketball team. And all around, they're going to make it very difficult on whoever they play to have a chance to win. Now, Lagoons Dort, he's at the foul line for the Thunder, and he missed the first. I think if I remember right, he did struggle at the line when he played at Arizona State in college. He is a good player, though. He's just kind of like that, that junkyard dog type player. He's just very physical, a big body, and he really plays hard. And that's why he's sticking in the NBA, because of the fact he plays so hard. If he didn't play as hard as he does, he would not be in the league. He's a really good player, and he's gotten a lot better at things that he was not good at in the past. But the New Orleans Pelicans, they're up 19-11. And again, they're showing that Zion Williamson's been out since January 2nd with a hamstring injury. But the Pelicans have been fine without him, 19-11. And you've got Josh Giddey with the basketball. He's a great player from Australia, and almost a steal by the Pelicans, but it will stay Oklahoma City ball. It's 19-11. Pelicans, 6:02 to go in the first. Edwards says Dort is a Swiss Army knife, 100%. He's a shorter OG Anunoby and not as good at threes either. But he's kind of like OG Anunoby in the fact he does everything really well. He's good at defense. He's a big body. OG Anunoby is a better player, but Lagunes Dort is really solid overall. Jalen Williams to Lagunes Dort, and Dort, he shoots the three and he hits the three. Right when I say he can't shoot three, he can shoot threes, and he's gotten a lot better at them. But he just knocks down that shot there. And right now, he's the only offense for the Thunder. He's got 12 points. 12 of the 14 for OKC. It's 19-14 New Orleans. Now you've got Jonas down low with the 2. We'll just go with Jonas. It's a lot easier to say his first name. 21-14 New Orleans over the OKC. 5:20 to go in the first. Jonas is 8 points and 8 boards. Playing really good ball down low. Josh Giddey shoots a 3, and he knocks it down for OKC. 21-17. Thunder hanging around. Solid basketball. Good passing from the young guards. I think you look at a team like Oklahoma City, they could be really solid in the future. If their younger guys improve, they can get a couple of veterans that can really be able to lead the team in the future. I think that the Thunder have promise. Unfortunately for the Thunder, though, they shouldn't have been in the playoffs if the Mavericks had gotten their act together, but the Mavericks fell short of making the playoffs, which is unbelievable. Herb Jones just missed 2 threes in a row. He missed a 3. Pelicans got the offensive rebound. He missed again. And now you've got the Thunder with the ball. Still passing the ball really well. Josh Giddey faking the 3, thought about it, and he takes the mid-range 2, and he knocks it down. 21-19, the Thunder are getting back in this game. The Pelicans had a 10-point lead, but it is shrinking by the second. The Thunder are getting right back in it. Giddey with 7 points. And you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the steal. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's averaging 31 points. He kicks to Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams, the one from Santa Clara, not the one from Arkansas, with the layup. Still hilarious that the Thunder have 2 Jalen Williams. Spelt a little bit differently in the first name. But it's 21-21. Lewis is driving in the lane for the Pelicans. He misses the shot. Still 21-21. 4 to go in the first. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pulls for 3, and he knocks it down. 24-21 Oklahoma City. What a shot. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is as talented as they come. The one and done out of Kentucky. 11th overall pick a few years ago in the draft, and he is a solid player. Edwards says, fun fact, Derek White has played 113 straight games. Zion has played 112 games in his career. Now, that right there, Edward, is a great fun fact. And that is not a good look for Zion Williamson. Yet again, Zion Williamson is a talented basketball player. He is elite at basketball when he's in. I mean, he is a big physical body that's a great shot blocker. He's a great dunker. He's gotten better at shooting in some areas, and he just plays so hard. But if he's not on the floor, then his impact is not felt, obviously. When you're on the floor, you're not able to help your team, and it doesn't, make it worth what you're getting paid. It's very unfortunate that Zion Williamson is in the predicament that he's in. But if he doesn't, stop the injury issues in the future, then he's never going to be able to show his full potential. He's never going to be able to be worth what he's getting paid, unfortunately. You don't want to think of it that way. Obviously, he deserves the money he's getting for how great he is. But if he's not on the floor, he's not able to help the Pelicans. The Pelicans could have been great. Obviously, I think for the Pelicans, it's helped a lot of their other players develop and have a lot of success. But Zion Williamson is going to have to get back in the fold next season and be able to play and try to at least play 55 or 60 of the games in a season instead of 29. That's not going to get it done. But to your point, Derek White is Mr. Reliable. Kind of reminds me in the vein of Mikal Bridges, not the same player at all. But Mikal Bridges is a guy that's played in like 3 years worth of games in a row, like almost 200 games in a row. And Derek White is very reliable. That's always a good thing. Availability is the best ability. Clint Moses says, go Beavs. Thanks for being here, Clint Moses. Go Beavs for sure. He says, let's go OKC as well. Going for the underdog. I mean, the Thunder playing good basketball, and they've just taken the lead on the Pelicans 24-21. So you never know. We could have an upset brewing here. I mean, I don't know if it'd be the biggest upset necessarily in the world, but it still would be an upset. Because overall, the Pelicans have more talent on the team that is proven. I think the Thunder are more of a wild card in the fact that they have a lot of rookies that are playing a lot of minutes. And a player like Lagunes Dort that no one really talks about unless you really follow the NBA or remember him from the Arizona State Sun Devils. I just think that overall the Thunder definitely aren't the team many people are picking to win this game. But the Pelicans, they have more talent, but they can be beat. They're a team that I think the Thunder can hang with because you don't have like a dominant center or something like that the Thunder won't be able to stop. I think that the Pelicans are a team that the Thunder can definitely beat. And hopefully this is a game that goes down to the wire, and it hopefully should be a close game. It's a lot of fun. Like our earlier game, the Raptors-Bulls was a fantastic basketball game that, the Raptors should have won arguably, but they did not win. Unfortunately, for the Raptors, they fell short. And again, you cannot have a big halftime lead and think you've got the game. Not saying the Raptors did, but how many games did we see in March Madness? We already have seen it in the NBA playoffs, in the play-in games. You look at the Timberwolves over the Lakers. How many games have a team been up by double digits at half and then they blow the lead? You got to continue to play at a high level. You have to. Because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to win games. Edwards says Kyrie killed the Mavs like always. They were in fourth playoffs of the West and got Kyrie missed the playoffs altogether. Yeah, it's insane. The Mavericks should have made the playoffs. You've got Kyrie Irving, you've got Luka Doncic, and you go from 4th to 11th. It's unbelievable. And the Thunder, they got rewarded for the fact that the Mavericks did not play well and ended up in 11th. The Thunder got a gift, a big gift, because really they shouldn't be here. I'm glad they're here. It's awesome to see the Thunder in the playing game, but it should have been the Mavs, but they just completely fell apart. It's 24-23. The Pelicans just scored, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder missed on the other, and now Brandon Ingram has the basketball. You've got the Pelicans swinging it around at the top of the key, trying to size up the Oklahoma City Thunder. You've got Lewis swinging it over, and you've got a missed three right there. What a defensive stand by the Thunder. Josh Richardson, the former Spur, he's the one that missed that shot. I think right now, looking at, the way the Pelicans are, they have a deep bench, but I think they have a lot of players that could be very streaky. They have a lot of players that could get hot or cold. Josh Richardson is one of those players. He's averaging like 8 points per game this year, but he's a guy that could definitely average more than that. He's a guy that could score 15 in a game or 20 in a game. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Pelicans are able to handle their inconsistent rotation. Brandon Ingram down low. What a pass by Herb Jones. He's a great player overall. Does a lot of good things for the Pelicans. It's 26-25. You just had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get a score, and then you had Brandon Ingram on the other end get a score for the Pelicans. So it's 26-25. Josh Giddey misses a three for the Thunder. And Isaiah Joe out of Arkansas with the rebound. Now you got Dario Saric down low, and Dario Saric with the layup. The Thunder got him in the trade deadline, and he's a solid player. He's averaging around 7 points per game. Solid player overall. And it's 28-25 Thunder. I think OKC is trying to show that they're for real. They want to show they belong, even if they don't win this game. They're giving everything they've got. And the Pelicans down by 3 right now. You've got Herb Jones driving into the lane at full speed ahead, and he draws a foul. I think sometimes in the NBA, the best move you could possibly do is just drive into the lane and get fouled sometimes. It's funny how that works out. But at times, that's your best move. Because that's kind of what the Lakers did against the T-Wolves last night. The Lakers just kept driving in the lane, getting fouled. And whenever they went away from it, it hurt them. I think sometimes just driving in the lane. Now you've got Herb Jones. He's at the line. And Herb Jones, he's a really good defensive player, a really good swing man for the Pelicans, and he knocks down the first free throw. And as we saw in our earlier game, the Raptors missing 18 free throws, I think it was. They're like 18 and 36. You cannot do that in a big game like this. So free throws will be very important for both these teams, specifically if this is a close game. Showing Herb Jones averaging 1.6 steals per game in the NBA this season, 12th in the league. Very solid defensive player, and he knocks down both free throws. It's 28-27, and I think the Thunder just threw it away on the inbounds. Herb Jones' defensive presence was there. What defense by the former Alabama player. Yeah, you got to play good defense if you want to win big games like this. And I think that looking at what Herb Jones is doing, he's trying to set the tone on OKC, saying we're going to play really hard as well. We're not going to go down like the Raptors did. CJ McCollum kicks to Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson to Brandon Ingram on the right side of the court. Brandon Ingram kicks it out. And Josh Richardson, he turns the basketball over. That's tough. Josh Richardson's a good player. I think he's around 28 years old, 28, 29 years old. But right there, turning the basketball over, it is what it is. You got to get that one behind you and try to go out there on the next play and not make a mistake. But I think both teams have been really solid. They haven't turned it over much. I think the Pelicans have 2 turnovers and the Thunder only have 1. So both teams have been playing some pretty clean basketball so far, not too turnover prone, but it's 28-27. OKC, 1:30 to go in the first, and you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the man for the Thunder, the best player by far on their team, averaging 31 points per game, 15 more than Josh Giddey, who's the second leading scorer, with 16 points per game. And you got Lagoons Dort driving in the lane, and I think he drew a foul on New Orleans. So Lagoons Dort, who's still the leading scorer for Oklahoma City so far in this game, will have 2 free throws. I think he's almost at his average. He's averaging around 14 points per game, and I think he's got 12 or 13 points. I don't think Herb Jones likes the fact they called a foul on him there. He's talking to the referee. Unfortunately, a lot of NBA players talk to the referees. I don't blame them. Sometimes calls don't go your way, and it can be really frustrating, but you got to keep your cool. You don't want to get a technical foul. I don't think Herb Jones is, though. Lagoons Dort, he knocks down the first free throw. He's got 13 points. Really solid start to the game for Lagoons Dort. See if he can keep it up the whole game. That would be huge for Oklahoma City. Now Brandon Ingram has 2 fouls. That's tough, and they're showing Dort has a career high in the first quarter with 13 points. If he hits this one, it'll be definitely continuing his career high, but he'll be over his scoring average, and he's got 14 points. He's over his 13.7 points per game scoring average this season, and that's going to bode well for Oklahoma City, especially if they can get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander really going. And the Thunder up 30-27, 1:10 to go in the first. Josh Richardson with the ball swings back to player for so long at the Trailblazers. McCollum takes the mid-range shot, and he cannot hit it. And you've got a rebound for the Thunder going down the floor. The NBA, the teams run so quickly up and down. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 2. What a layup by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Man, he's so talented. That's a great play right there. 32-27. And now you've got down low. Trey Murphy III missed a dunk for New Orleans. I think a little bit of a contest by the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shoots a 3, and he misses. And now you've got a rebound for the Pelicans. The Pelicans got to settle it down a little bit, but they're not going immediately up the floor. What a pass by C.J. McCollum to Herb Jones. 32-29. OKC up 3. 30 seconds to go in the first. Isaiah Joe with the basketball. He's a really good player out of Arkansas, had a lot of success. He hasn't really gotten it all together in the NBA, but he's definitely improved this season. He misses a jumper there. He's averaging around 9 points per game this season, so that's some fairly solid numbers. 10 seconds to go in the first, and the Pelicans are down 3 with a chance to tie. You've got C.J. McCollum over to Josh Richardson, and he misses the 3 at the first quarter buzzer, and it's 32-29 Thunder over the Pelicans, end of the first quarter. Really good first quarter by the Thunder. I thought it was a solid first quarter by both teams, but definitely the Pelicans a little bit sloppier, maybe taking some more bad shots than the Thunder, and the Thunder overall looking really solid, and they're up 32-29 at the end of the first quarter. Clint Moses says Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a grown man. 100%. He's just a great player. I mean, you look at a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was supposed to be good out of college, but he wasn't supposed to be this good. And yes, he's on one of the worst teams in the NBA until this season anyway. He was on one of the worst teams. They're getting better, but he's carrying this team so much, and he's doing a great job of it, averaging 31 points per game, being exactly like Devin Booker was for the Suns a couple years ago when they didn't have the talent that they have now. I think you look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's a great sign for his future, because if he's ever on a team, whether it's with the Thunder and they get some talent around him, or whether it's with a new team that he finally goes to, he's going to be able to be with better players around him, and he's not going to have to score as much, and he'll be very efficient because he is a great player overall, but he does have to do a ridiculous amount of the work for the Thunder for them to get wins. Clint Moses says, bring back the Seattle Supersonics. Yeah, you had the Seattle Supersonics until 2007. Kevin Durant was drafted by the Supersonics, and then they left Seattle and they went to the Thunder. Obviously, I think there was issues with the stadium out there. I think people said that there wasn't, great fan support out there, but it's unfortunate. I know a lot of people love the Seattle Supersonics with good reason. The name was really cool. The colors were really cool. And you had a team in Seattle. Really complimented the out west. The Oklahoma City Thunder growing on a lot of people. It's a good team. And Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were great there for so long. They needed another player. James Harden, if he had stayed with the Thunder and not left, I think maybe could have been that missing piece overall for the Thunder, but they can never get over the top with just Durant and West. But, the Thunder are a team that's been struggling for years, but they seem to maybe be starting to get their footing turned around. They're starting to play better basketball as a team, and maybe things are starting to trend upwards for the Thunder in the future. But the Pelicans, I know they're a team that for a lot of people has been very confusing because of the fact the Pelicans had Anthony Davis for a long time. And they never really built a team around him. And Anthony Davis got frustrated and he left. And now he's with LeBron James with the Lakers. But the Pelicans seem to be turning a corner a little bit. They seem to be starting to improve as a team overall. But Zion Williamson is their main piece that they're wanting to keep to have success. I've heard a lot of people say that the Pelicans need to trade Zion Williamson to get draft picks and to get maybe some players, like more bench depth or maybe a couple of decent players to bring in. And maybe the Pelicans will be really good with what they have already. And I entertain that option in my head. And I think it's pretty solid because Zion Williamson's a guy that could be boom or bust. You think about the bust potential. What if Zion Williamson's never healthy? And then the Pelicans won't be able to trade him away for much once, he has too many injuries and not really any team's going to not really want Zion Williamson. Maybe you could trade him now, but I also see the other angle to keep him because of the fact Zion's so talented, and eventually maybe he'll get healthy, and then the Pelicans will have him and the roster. So it's very interesting. It's going to be wild to see what happens with Zion Williamson and the Pelicans. But the Pelicans are close to being a really good team. But they can't let this go to waste, just like they did with Anthony Davis. They're going to have to figure it out and make the right move. And hopefully whatever decision they do make ends up being the right one. But back to the game action. Second quarter, 32-29, Oklahoma City up by 3, and you've got Josh Giddey driving into the lane. He misses the shot, and the Pelicans get the rebound. Josh Giddey's been a great player for the Thunder this season, averaging 16 points per game. Definitely been a huge rookie overall in the NBA. Been one of the best. Great player from Australia. He's had a great season. And you've got CJ McCollum taking the step back, too, and he's not able to hit the shot. CJ McCollum's solid. Sometimes he does take shots that are a little too hard. Josh Giddey misses another layup, and you can see him kicking himself. He wanted to make that shot. He missed the first layup. He wanted to get that one to go down, but he could not. And now you've got the Pelicans still with a 3-point deficit. CJ McCollum's driving in, kicks into the corner, and now it's around to Trey Murphy the third. Trey Murphy the third kicks over. And now you've got Josh Richardson taking the pull-up too, and he knocks it down, 32-31. Josh Richardson has been a journeyman, kind of reminds me in the similar vein of a Dennis Schroeder type player that he's been all over the place in the NBA, but he is solid. He's definitely a bucket getter off the bench and sometimes starting for teams. You had Jalen Williams miss a 3 for Oklahoma City. They get the rebound, and Josh Giddey, he can't make a layup right now, but he can make a 3. 35-31, Josh Giddey with 10 points, 4-9 from the field, 2-3 from the three-point line. 10:20 to go in the second. Trey Murphy the third. He goes up strong, and he gets fouled. 35-31. Chef says, love me some Supersonics. A lot of people did. And unfortunately, when a team that a lot of people like is gone, the nostalgia factor for that team is high. And people miss the Supersonics. It'd be really cool if they could come back. But who knows whether that will happen or not. More than likely not. Jeff says, great shot. It definitely was by Giddey. And Clint Moses says, ladies love Giddey in his hair. That's funny right there, man. He's definitely got a full head of hair for sure. And he's a good player. He is a really good player. And definitely a piece that the Thunder will want to develop further and maybe become a really good player next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then it's just about team building. If you don't have it from within, then that's when you got to draft more or trade for players that are veterans. I think if the Thunder can do that, they could be a really good team. 35-33 Oklahoma City. The Pelicans have cut it to 2, and the Thunder, they said, are the second youngest team in the NBA. I think the Rockets are the youngest, if I'm correct. But both are super young, and I think the Thunder have done a great job. Yes, it's mostly Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 100%. If it wasn't for him, they'd be nowhere near where they're at, and the Mavericks collapse. But the other players on the team have been solid for the Thunder. They definitely are an opportunistic basketball team for sure. Isaiah Joe in the corner, and his three is splash. 38-33. What a shot by Isaiah Joe. He was a great player at Arkansas. He had a lot of big shots in Fayetteville, and now he's doing it in OKC. 38-33. New Orleans with the ball, down by 5. Josh Richardson trying to figure out what to do with it. He's trying to get it down low to Jonas. And Jonas with the ball, he kicks it back to Josh Richardson. What a good two-man game right there. 38-35. 9:30 to go in the second. Dario Saric for 3, and his 3 almost drops, but it does not go in. 9:20 to go in the second. Now you've got Trey Murphy, the third, with the basketball, trying to figure out what to do. Back down to Jonas. And now he gets it to Trey Murphy, and whoa, what a foul. And his ball gets blocked into the basketball goal between the rim and the backboard, and he's going to be going to the line. But Jonas right now is doing some good passes. Clint Moses' Key Arena, a.k.a. Client Page Arena, was recently renovated. Cross my fingers, Seattle, Las Vegas get NBA teams. Yeah, if there is an expansion in the NBA where they add some teams, I think those would both be great locations overall, to have new teams. It will be interesting. You never know what the NBA is going to do. Maybe they will add some teams. You never know. But right now, Trey Murphy, the third, who just got hacked on that play, he's at the line, and he makes the first free throw. It's 38-36. OKC is up by 2 points, and Murphy knocks down the second. So it's 38-37. 9:10 to go in the second. So right now, the Thunder clinging to a 1-point lead. The Pelicans are 10-10 at the line. Thunder 4-5. And down low, a layup for the Thunder, 40-37. That's a really nice play right there. Thunder up by 3. Josh Richardson with the ball for the New Orleans Pelicans. He's trying to drive, kicks in the corner, and you've got a 3 by Trey Murphy. What a shot. 40-40. Trey Murphy's having a really good game so far. He's averaging 14.5 points per game, and he hit a big 3 in the corner. It's 40-40. Jalen Williams is driving into the lane, and he turns the basketball over. Trey Murphy with the steal. Trey Murphy, the third down the lane, and he slams it home. 42-40, and the Pelicans are in front. Timeout. KC, 8:31 to go in the second. And Trey Murphy just had himself a sequence. 2 free throws, a big 3, and then a steal all the way up to a breakaway dunk. Unbelievable. It's not CJ McCollum. It's not Brandon Ingram. You've got Trey Murphy the third playing great basketball right now for the Pelicans. And that's a good sign. You always want some of your complimentary players to step up, because if you do, you have a really good chance to win games, because then you would assume that in the second half that CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram might start to take over a little bit and have more success. But right now it's Trey Murphy the third who is having a great second quarter so far. But it's going to be very interesting. I think this game has the potential to go down the wire. I know a lot more people are picking the Pelicans to win, and with good reason, because the Pelicans are definitely a basketball team that probably has more talent overall. But the Thunder, again, the scrappiness with the way they play, I'm really liking the effort I'm seeing from them. And I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to get this win, but you never know. I mean, they're playing really hard, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's had a couple great plays, but he hasn't really even kicked into full gear yet. It's been a lot of their complimentary players as well, specifically Lagoons Dort, who has been unbelievable to start this game. He's cooled off a bit, but that's to be expected. You're not really expecting him to just go out there and put up 40 or anything like that. He only averaged 13.7 points per game for a reason. But Lagoons Dort had a hot start to the game. Now it's going to be up to some of the other players for the Thunder to continue that streak that Lagoons Dort started and to continue to score. I think you look at a guy like Josh Giddey. He's had some great moments so far in this game, and I think that he's definitely a player to keep an eye on for the Thunder throughout this game. If he ends up having around 25 points in this game, there's a good chance the Thunder have a good chance to win, because of the fact you look at a player like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that does so much for the team. He's going to need some help. And I think Josh Giddey, even Jalen Williams as well, both those players have to score a lot of points in this game. They both need over 20, I think, unless it's Lagunes Dort or even Isaiah Joe. I think at least 2 or 3 other players need to have 15 or more points, specifically Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams having big games, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then it might be enough for the Thunder to win. You look at the Timberwolves. They were going to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Karl Anthony Towns was having a solid game. Yes, he got in foul trouble late, but he was having a solid game. And then you have Mike playing great. He was shooting the ball lights out from 3. I thought Kyle Anderson had a solid game. Overall, the Timberwolves played solid. They had a lot of players that were giving it their all. Taurean Prince even had like 15 points, which he only averages 9 points per game. But Anthony Edwards, the star for the Timberwolves, who averaged 25 points per game and 9 points. Yes, he might have got hurt, and that's what, prevented him from having, a big impact in the game. But just as is important for Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams to have big games, you also need to have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having a big game. He's got to have his 25 to 30 points, because if he does not, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Thunder to win as well, because you can't just have the role players getting the job done. But I think so far it's been a nice mix for the Thunder, but they have the basketball right now out of the timeout, and they're down by 2. They've led for a lot of this game, but the Pelicans have taken the lead. It's 42-40 New Orleans, 8:20 to go in the second. And Oklahoma City trying to figure it out to get back in front, and you've got Josh Giddey down the lane on cue with the big layup. He finally gets a layup to drop. 42-42. That's a good shot by Josh Giddey. He's got 12 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists. He's a good player. Josh Giddey, I think, could be a great player in the NBA eventually. I think he's already really close to being great, but he could be even better in the future. And Jonas on the other end for New Orleans with the score, 44-42. He might already have a double-double. And then on the other end, you've got a drive by Aaron Wiggins, who's averaging 7 points per game, and Aaron Wiggins will be going to the foul line for OKC. Josh Richardson does not like the foul call. 44-42. I like the energy from both teams. You look at a team like the Thunder. They've been in a lot of high-scoring games this season, and it seems like this game is going to be another one of those games. And why is that? Because the Thunder aren't the best defensive team in the world. They've been in a lot of high-scoring games, and that is a problem. It's very difficult to win games when they're 140 to 130. I think New Orleans is similar. I think they're a bit better at defense than the Thunder, but they're not a good defensive team either. Not toward the top of the NBA. So this could be a really high-scoring game. You already see it's 44-43 with 7:47 to go in the second. That is a lot of points. And Wiggins, he hits the first free throw, and Wiggins hits the second. So 44-44. Both teams are hitting their free throws so far. It's going to be key throughout this game. The Raptors lost because they missed free throws. Now you've got Marshall with the basketball. Najee Marshall, he's in the game for the Pelicans. Now Jonas with the ball. He's trying to drive in, kicks out to Trey Murphy. And Herb Jones into the lane, and his shot is short. And you've got Jalen Williams out of Arkansas with the rebound. Now Isaiah Joe kicks to Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey's probing in the lane. Swings to Isaiah Joe. Joe for 3, and his 3 is short. 44-44. 7:10 to go in the second quarter. Najee Marshall with the basketball. He gets the screen of Jonas, kicks to Herb Jones in the corner. He had a great look, but was not able to knock it down. OKC with the rebound. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bringing the ball up the floor. He has not had the ball in a little while. And there is a foul on the Pelicans. A hip check on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't think the team's in the bonus yet, so no free throws. But it's still 44-44, and Brandon Ingram is checking back in for the Pelicans. 6:53 to go in the second quarter, and we've got a tie ball game, 44-44. Both teams playing with a lot of energy, playing at a high level. The offense might start to be stalling a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's specifically because of the defense playing better, but just the shots aren't falling. And right on cue, Isaiah Joe misses another 3. He almost hit the shot, but it went in and out. So still 44-44. Now Brandon Ingram's driving into the lane, and he almost loses it out of bounds. But Isaiah Joe, I think, touched it last for Oklahoma City. So it still will be Pelicans ball. 6:40 to go in the second. You got Willie Green, the head coach for the Pelicans, on the sideline. He's talking to the ref. He's probably pleased with his team's performance so far, especially on the offensive end, but probably need to tighten up more on defense. Brandon Ingram with the ball, kicks to Trey Murphy. Somehow was able to avoid that pass being stolen by Isaiah Joe, but Trey Murphy is not able to knock down the three. Oklahoma City's bringing the ball up the floor. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pulls for three, and he misses. With Jalen Williams with the offensive rebound, the ball went right to him. Now Isaiah Joe swings it down low. Now it's back out to Lagoons Dort. And Lagoons Dort for three. He's got 3 threes in this game. What a great start for Lagoons Dort. He's got 17 points. He's only missed 1 shot in this game, and that's been a 3. It's 3 of 4 from 3. 5:50 to go in the second. Trey Murphy with the ball, trying to get it down low to Jonas. On the left block, he's driving in. He goes up and under, almost got the shot to go, and he loses it, but there's a foul. Whenever you get the ball down low to a center and it gets stripped, it's usually a foul for sure. 47-44. Both teams playing with a lot of intensity. And that's a big shot at the top of the key for Lagoons Dort. And that's a great sign overall for the Thunder. Having a player like him have such a big game in a big game like this play-in game will definitely help out overall if the Thunder are able to win, to know that Lagoons Dort is, not worried at all about this matchup. The fact that you're in the playoffs. No, there's no worries or whatever. He's just going out there and balling out. Now you just got to get more production from Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey, and get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going. The Thunder will be good to go. But Jonas, he hits the free throw. I think he split the pair. He missed the first. So it's 47-45. 5:40 to go in the second. Lagoons Dort with the basketball. The Junkyard Dogs driving in. Kicks to Isaiah Joe. And Joe takes a mid-range, and his shot does not go in. But there's another offensive rebound for the Thunder by Jalen Williams. Dort in the corner. And Lagoons Dort misses a three. His hot streak ends. He finally misses a shot. And now you've got the Pelicans with the ball. CJ McCollum over to Brandon Ingram. Now down low to Herb Jones for the slam dunk. 47-47. Exquisite passing by the Pelicans. Now you've got the Thunder with it. Lagoons Dort, he thought about the three, but decides not to take another one. And now he does take another one. And Lagoons Dort is on fire. He's got 20. 50-47. Dort has 40% of the Thunder's points so far in this game. 4:50 to go in the second. Dort is on fire. 50-47. Now you've got Brandon Ingram with the ball on the right block, and there is a foul called on the Thunder. I don't think there's free throws, however. Still no bonus. But Lagoons Dort, he is becoming a problem for the Pelicans. The Pelicans might want to put a hand up in his face to prevent him from shooting the three like that. I mean, is he the biggest threat in the world from outside? No, but he's got 4 threes now. You might want to guard the guy. He's playing great basketball. 50-47. Now you've got Jackson Hayes into the game for the Pelicans, who's a solid backup center. CJ McCollum with the ball, and CJ McCollum goes up strong, and he lays it in. He's still a great offensive player. He's been in the league for a while now, had a great run with the Trailblazers with Damian Lillard. McCollum's only got 4 points in this game. I think for the Pelicans, they need to get more out of him if they want to win this game. Now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he takes a mid-range bad shot. It was short. Definitely a shot he can make. Was not able to knock it down. Now there's a steal on the other end. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bothered Brandon Ingram. And now down low, you've got a foul being called on the Pelicans, and Jalen Williams from Santa Clara will be shooting 2 free throws. You've got both Jalen Williams out there, the Arkansas and the Santa Clara player. Both are really solid rotational pieces, especially Jalen Williams from Santa Clara having a much better year, but both are solid. 4:16 to go in the second quarter. And Santa Clara, Jalen Williams is at the line. He's averaging 14 points per game this season, 4th among rookies, having a good year, 4.5 boards as well. And his first free throw is in the net, 51-49. OKC is definitely playing some promising basketball. And their prospects to be able to win this game and then maybe beat the Timberwolves if they play them, if they can get this win. The Timberwolves are shorthanded and really struggling right now. And You got Jalen Williams hitting the second free throw, so the Thunder knocking down the free throws as well. He has 4 points. It's 52-49. The Thunder are up by 3 over the Pelicans. 4 to go in the second quarter. Brandon Ingram with the basketball being guarded by Jalen Williams. Brandon Ingram's trying to drive in. Brandon Ingram goes up strong, and they call it off of him. No foul called. And they call it off of his leg. That's tough for Brandon Ingram. And Willie Green does not like it, the Pelicans head coach. Brandon Ingram drove in. Ooh, I think it might have been off of him. I think they might have got that call right. But Jalen Williams driving in the lane, kick out into the corner, and the Thunder missed the 3. Now you've got the Pelicans with the rebound. Trey Murphy almost losing the basketball. He's got it back. And now down low to Jackson Hayes. And Jackson Hayes with the athletic finish. 52-51. Thunder up by 1. 3:30 to go in the second quarter. Lagoons Dort with the basketball. He's got 20 points. Now over to Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. And Jalen Williams cannot get the shot to fall. He had a really nice layup there, but unfortunately for him, he was not able to make the shot. Got to make your layups. Now Herb Jones in the corner for the Pelicans. And Herb Jones' 3, it is short, but you've got Jackson Hayes with the weak side rebound. He gets it to C.J. McCollum. Now McCollum's driving into the lane. And now you've got McCollum getting fouled. C.J. McCollum would go into the free throw line. Really nice decision there by C.J. McCollum to drive into the lane and get the foul. Very smart play. I think overall, looking at a player like C.J. McCollum, he is a really good shooter, but sometimes he's at his deadliest when he's taking it off the bounce and driving into the lane. It's just very smart basketball. You want to be able to get free throws. But actually, I think they have Herb Jones actually going to the line instead of C.J. McCollum. I thought he was the one that should be shooting free throws, but I think they called a foul on the rebound with Herb Jones. And Herb Jones, he knocks down the first free throw. He's having a really solid game so far. Herb Jones was a good player at Alabama, but he definitely needed to improve on the offensive end. But it seems he has gotten better at that in the NBA, and he gets both free throws to fall. And what do you know? The Pelicans are back in front, 53-52 over OKC. 2:50 to go in the second quarter. The losers eliminated. The winner will play the Timberwolves with a chance to make the playoffs. Jalen Williams with the basketball. Over to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes the mid-range 2, and his shot is off. It looks like Alexander's a bit off. But then you've got a rebound by Wiggins, and they give him the and 1. Aaron Wiggins took the ball from Jackson Hayes and lays it in. Unbelievable. What a play by Aaron Wiggins. That's a good play. And we've got a timeout on the floor. We're getting really close to halftime. And this game is going back and forth. Clint Moses has top 5 Pac-12 football teams to watch next season. That is a great question. I know you're definitely looking forward to college football the next season coming up, specifically in the fact that you look at Oregon State with DJ Uiagalelei. Could have a lot of success there. I would probably say Washington is in the top 5. This is in no particular order, but Washington because of Michael Penix, obviously Kalen DeBoer, and they have their offensive coordinator back. I think USC will be in the top 5 for sure. Their offense is great. Their defense, whether it's good or not, it's not going to matter. Their offense, as long as Caleb Williams is in the game, they're going to have a lot of success there. I think that Oregon will still be in the top 5. Oregon has a really talented team. Obviously, things might not be as good as they were with Mario Cristobal, but I'd say Oregon as well. I'm going to put Oregon State there. I think that the Beavs, have a good team. I think DJ will do some good things there, and he should be able to win enough games to be in the top 5. And then for the 5th team, that's a great question. I don't know. It's very interesting. I think that you got to go with Utah. I think that Utah is the other team because they got Cam Rising back, and they're probably going to be the 5th team. And then the rest of them will probably be a step down. Colorado won't be good enough yet in year 1 for Deion. Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham's first year won't be there. Arizona as well, just not enough. Stanford and Cal are not doing well. Washington State's probably a year or 2 away potentially. I would go Utah. Utah, Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, and USC. That is a great question, and we'll be looking forward to college football season returning. But we've got the NBA playoffs right here and a great game between the Thunder and Pelicans. Jackson says no matter who wins this match tonight, the winner will beat the T-Wolves because they can't rebound to save their life. Yeah, that is a good point, Jackson. I wouldn't say that it's a done deal, though. I mean, you always look at a game, and sometimes you think that for sure. You watch the team play. There's no way they can win, but then they go out there and surprise you. So, I mean, I agree with you. The Timberwolves do need a lot of help, but you never know. I think that they could beat either of these teams, but they're going to have to play better than they did against the Lakers late in that game where they really struggled. Edward, he says Clint, not in any order, but USC, Washington, Utah, Oregon, and probably Oregon State for me. I want to see how DJ does, but a lot of people say Colorado. Yeah, I agree with you, Edward. It is USC, Washington, Utah, Oregon, and Oregon State for me right now. Colorado is too much of a wild card, and they need a lot more talent going their way for anybody to really, project to have Colorado in the top 5 of the Pac-12. There's just too much that we don't know about what Colorado is going to be. But it's a great question. It's going to be very interesting. To Edward's point, T-Wolves will get Rudy back, and that will help the rebounding. As well, you were right again, Edward, 100%. Because Rudy will be back, Gobert is a great rebounder. I think that should help for sure. All the Timberwolves have to do is get Anthony Edwards playing well. If the Timberwolves get Anthony Edwards playing at a high level in the game against the Pelicans or the Thunder, I think the Timberwolves will win. But they're going to have to get a good Anthony Edwards game. They can't have him scoring 9 points. But it's going to be very interesting. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans, 54-53. OKC with a 1-point lead, 2:40 to go in the second quarter. And we've got, the Oklahoma City at the line, Aaron Wiggins, who did a great play getting the offensive rebound off that play and getting the ball in. That was a nice play, and it's 55-53. Oklahoma City up by 2 points now, 2:30 to go in the second quarter. In New Orleans, they've been at times trying to take the lead in this game, but it's been a game that's been going back and forth overall, and Oklahoma City has been in the lead for the most part, but now the Pelicans finally take the lead. 56-55, they take the lead back, and that's going to be tough for Oklahoma City. They cannot let the Pelicans get ahead by a lot. The Thunder have to stay in this game if they want to have a chance to win. But you've got Oklahoma City with 8 threes in this game, New Orleans with only 3, and now the Pelicans are in the lead, though, and they're going down the floor again. Brandon Ingram goes up, and then you have Herb Jones with the follow-through. 58-55, 1:50 to go in the second quarter. What a play by Herb Jones. The Pelicans are up by 3, and the Thunder in a little bit of trouble. Don't want to go down by 7, 8 points at half. Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball. He's been struggling the last few shots. He's driving in the lane, and that natural athleticism takes over. He drives all the way into the lane and lays it up. That is when he's at his best. What a play by Gilgeous-Alexander, and it cuts the lead down to 1. 58-57. Gilgeous-Alexander only has 7 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. Not a bad place to be for the Thunder, the fact they're only down by 1 with him only having 7. And Brandon Ingram goes up and he gets fouled. So I think Brandon Ingram will have 2 free throws. I think it was on the shot. But the Thunder are trying to hang around, trying not to let the Pelicans blow this thing open. I think they're doing a solid job of that. They've been leading most of this game, but definitely they were in a bit of a danger zone there. But they've tried to be able to stabilize that, and they're showing Brandon Ingram driving in. He rolled his foot on Aaron Wiggins, and hopefully he'll be okay. He's at the line shooting the free throws, but that's tough. You could definitely tell that hurt for sure. His ankle rolled hard, but he's at the line taking the pain. Brandon Ingram's a really good player, averaging 25 points per game this season. He's definitely improved this year in a lot of areas. He's got 9 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists in this game right now, and he's at the line for the second free throw, and it's up and good. 60-57. Pelicans up 3. And you've got Jalen Williams with the basketball, the Thunder needing some points. Aaron Wiggins now has 3 fouls. That's not good for him. He's still in the basketball game, though. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball at the top of the key. And he takes the long 3, and it's in and out. He almost got the shot to fall, but it was a little bit too long. Good shot by Gilgeous-Alexander. Couldn't get it to drop. He's only 3 of 10 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3, so he's not playing well. The Thunder only down 3. It's not the worst position to be in, but they need points. They need stops as well. They're not getting stops. And Trey Murphy, the third for 3. And there you go. That's the biggest issue with the Thunder is their defense. And now the Pelicans are starting to blow it open a bit. Trey Murphy with 15 points, and that is not what you want to see if you're a Thunder fan. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball. Kicks to Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey misses the 3. Brandon Ingram with the board. Still laboring on that foot, but he's looking like he's starting to walk it off. 20 seconds left in the second quarter. And the Pelicans are up 6. The fans are getting loud in New Orleans. Brandon Ingram with the ball. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Brandon Ingram's driving in. Trey Murphy shoots the 3 in the corner, and it's no good. Brandon Ingram with the rebound, and he misses again, and it's halftime. 63-57. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a great start to this game. They were playing really well, but the Pelicans have retaken the lead and are now up by 6 at the half. You don't want to get comfortable with any lead, though. We've seen big leads fall apart in the second so far in the NBA and in March Madness college basketball. But the Pelicans are in good shape right now, up by 6 at the half. And the Thunder, they're a really good team. But they're definitely a team that does struggle on the defensive end. And it looks like the Pelicans are starting to take advantage of that. Jeff says this game will go down to the wire. I surely hope so. And for a lot of this game, it looks like a game that will go back and forth. But you can tell, however, though, that the Pelicans are starting to assert their dominance a bit. Brandon Ingram's starting to get really involved. CJ McCollum had a couple of good shots. Trey Murphy's having an excellent first half. And for the Thunder, it's been mostly Josh Giddey and Luguntz Dort. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not have his best first half, which, again, is not a bad place to be for the Thunder. It's not a bad place to be within the fact that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's had a rough first half and you're only down 6, but it's the fact that he's not getting going and the Thunder are starting to let the Pelicans increase this lead. So as much as you want to excuse and say it's not too bad, it's eventually going to become a problem if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not get going in the second. But again, he is a player that can start playing well on a dime. So obviously I don't think that the Thunder are anywhere out of this game, but they're in a little bit of danger because you don't want to fall behind by too much. James, thanks for being here, James. He's got a Celtics on there, so obviously we got a lot of people that like the Celtics that are definitely going to be looking forward to the Celtics playing. Thank you for being here, James. Do you think the majority of Celtics starters on day-to-day injuries as of late will hurt them in Game 1 versus the Hawks? Well, I mean, overall, you got to play your players no matter what in the playoffs. Overall, if you got some injuries, you want to work that out at the end of the regular season if you don't really need it. But in the playoffs, you got to play it. Edwards said no, they were the rest, and Jalen's the only question because of that cut on his hand. Yeah, Jaylen Brown, that's insane how he got hurt. I hate he got hurt, but it's unbelievable that he was doing something in his garden or whatever, or he doing something like that, and he hurt his hand. That's unbelievable. Hopefully he can get better for the Celtics because they need him. He is vital to their basketball team. Edward says, I'm a diehard Celtics fan for sure. Edward said they locked the second seed, then rest the player. Yeah, that was what they did. You're right. You only do it in the regular season. You do it in the regular season when it doesn't matter. Like if your seed's already locked in, like you said, Edward. If you're playing for position, then you play your players. But if you're not, whether the Celtics won their last couple of games or not, they were still going to be the second seed. The Bucks had the first seed locked up. So, yeah, that's why the Celtics rested their players. They're going to play against the Hawks. They have to play. It's the playoffs. If you lose a game or two and then you start to have to come back from behind once you bring your players back, you're at the risk of actually losing the basketball game, or losing the series overall. Because if you lose too many games, you can only lose 4 out of the 7 games. And if not, you're out. And I think that overall, looking at the Celtics, even though they're a great basketball team, there's no way that you can afford to rest your players at any point against the Hawks. You got to play them. You have to play them every single game, and I think they definitely will for sure, except we'll have to find out with Jaylen Brown whether he'll be able to play or not. But you got to play your players in the series, all the games, unless they're too hurt to play, because you can't afford to lose any of the games. Jeff says the Pelicans are smoking. Yeah, they're on fire. And I think that the way this game is going overall, it does not bode well for the Thunder. I like the way the Thunder were playing early on, and I really like their energy. And I think that they're still in this game for sure. But the way this game's trending right now, it just doesn't look too good for the Thunder because of the fact Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not playing that well. And obviously he can get hot in a hurry. But the Pelicans are the deeper team. And the fact that they showed they could go on that run. And the Thunder just don't have the players to be able to slow down the Pelicans. Their defense struggles. That's the biggest issue for the Thunder. It's been all year. Their defense is not great. And I think that's due to the youth of the team. They have a lot of players that can score, which is awesome. But you have to be able to defend at a high level to be able to win a lot of games. We've seen it in football. We've seen it in March Madness. So many tournaments. You got to be able to defend at a high level. If you can't defend, then you're not going to be able to win games. You're not going to be able to go far enough into whatever sport you're playing in, whatever tournament. So overall, it's going to be highly intriguing to see what happens, in the second half. But if the Thunder can't tighten up on defense or the Pelicans just get cold on the offensive end, they're not going to have a chance no matter how much they score, I don't think. The Pelicans seem to be struggling on the defensive end as well, but maybe they have a little bit more defense than the Thunder. Edwards said, Joe Mazzulla said yesterday, Jalen will play with 0 minutes restriction. Okay. So Edwards got the inside scoop. Thank you, Edward. That's a great sign then. I think that is a great sign for the Celtics if Jaylen Brown is going to play, even with his, hand, being hurt a little bit. That's great because now the Celtics have their full roster. And I think overall the Hawks, they have talent, and the Hawks are a good basketball team. But I will say that the Celtics definitely overmatch or outpace the Hawks in so many areas. Their team is loaded. You want to talk about depth, like the Lakers in the last night's game. We talked about the depth, of the Lakers being a problem for the T-Wolves. Well, look at the Celtics. They have depth everywhere. I mean, that's why they brought in Malcolm Brogdon. They got Derek White. They've got Grant Williams. These guys are not starters, and they're still great. So that's why the Celtics are so dangerous, because of the fact they have a team that is so deep. They have so many guys that can get you a bucket. And if some of the guys are having off nights, the others can step up and have, a great game overall. And that's what's so huge overall for a team like the Celtics. I don't think it's guaranteed that they're going to be able to necessarily, win the whole thing per se, that it's just locked up given to them, because a lot of people think that, the Bucks could win it all, or, someone from the West. It could be the Warriors again. It could be the Suns. It could be the Nuggets. You never know. But I think the Celtics, based on their depth, they're going to have a great chance of, just as great of a chance as any of the teams in the NBA this year winning the whole thing because of their depth. James says, Trey Murphy is a promising young star. How far do you see him going in terms of ceiling? That's a good question, James. I think you look at Trey Murphy. He's a guy that is averaging 15 points per game this season. And the way I'm seeing him in this game, the way he's playing, he could be a guy that ends up being a potential all-star. I'm not saying he will be, but I think that's highly probable because his upward is good. Games like this, you see a lot of players that can play well in the regular season. They choke in the playoffs. Well, the fact that Trey Murphy is in this game and he's balling out is a good sign. I think it's a good sign Laguntz Dort's playing so well, for the Thunder. You want to see that. You want to see your young, potential future stars playing at a high level in big games like this, because it goes to show they're not afraid of the moment. They can handle the tough pressure situations. And when you can do that, I think that really bodes well for Trey Murphy. He could be a potential all-star, maybe. Not a guarantee, but I think he's a guy that definitely can up his points per game to over 20 points because of the way he's playing. He's playing at a high level, averaging 15 points per game, and it looks like it's only going to get better from here. Edward says, and Robert Williams is finally healthy. The Time Lord is back full strength. Yeah, that's also a great point, Edward. And I think you look at a guy like Robert Williams. Most of the time when the Celtics have been in the playoffs, they haven't had him. And Robert Williams is the type of player you need in the playoffs. He's that extra oomph that you have that gets you over the top. Because I feel like Robert Williams allows Al Horford to do what Al Horford is more capable of doing at his age. Al Horford definitely can still guard in the paint. Al Horford is a great player. And it's not just on the offensive end where Al Horford's more on the three-point line. I don't necessarily think it matters much on the offensive end, but it's the defensive end where it matters the most. Al Horford, at his age, just can't really bang down low with the best of them in this league. I think Robert Williams when he's at his best, his energy, where he's able to come off on the weak side and get blocks, and he's able to hang with his physicality and toughness on so many good players in the NBA. That's what makes him such a great player. That's why, I mean, he's only 6'10". He's an undersized player per modern NBA centers, where you got all these 7-foot behemoths that are huge. Robert Williams is a little undersized, but his agility is unbelievable. He can jump so high to block. I think that Robert Williams might be that added oomph that the Celtics need to win a finals. Be able to win a, championship in the NBA, get a ring. I think that Robert Williams, if he could stay healthy full tournament, or full playoffs, and you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing at a high level, and the rest of the team as well, I think that Robert Williams might be that extra they need. And if he can provide that the whole entire playoffs, that could be what gets them over the top. James also says, facts, Rob really makes a huge difference in the team's play, because it makes it where they don't really have any weaknesses. Marcus Smart is a, tall guard that plays point. I mean, he's a big-bodied guard, 6'4", 6'5", that for a lot of teams will be a 2 or a 3 type player, but he's playing the 1. He plays point guard, and he is a good passer, and he's capable at shooting. Then you have your 2 all-star wings in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Then you have a veteran player that can shoot the 3 at 6'10" in Al Horford. And then you have Robert Williams, who's one of the best defenders in the league and doesn't allow anybody to get easy layups. That's a complete team all over. And then you have Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, Derek White, Grant Williams, and whoever else they bring in. It's unbelievable, the depth and the amount of players that can fill it up on a given night for the Celtics. And if one guy's having a bad game, it's not all over. Somebody else can step up as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the Celtics. But I do think that overall depth is key. And you look at this game right here, the Pelicans seem to have more players that can score at a high level than the Thunder. I think the Thunder definitely improved with the amount of guys that were capable of playing well. You look at a guy like Aaron Wiggins, he's done some solid things in this game, but they just don't have a lot of depth. They don't have a lot of guys that are on the bench that can really come in and provide a lot. I think the Pelicans have more of that. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. But depth is key in the playoffs. You have to have teams, you have to have players on these teams that can shoot the 3 at a high level in the modern day NBA. You have to have great centers. You have to have good defense. That's why the Thunder, even if they win this game and were somehow able to beat the Timberwolves, the chance of the Thunder having any shot of winning anything, even if they were a higher seed, is low because their defense is poor. I think that they're going to have to improve on the defensive end if they want to be a great team. I really like the future for the Thunder if they can get it all together, but they're going to have to improve on the defensive end. Because as it currently sits, they're just not going to be able to win a lot of these big games the way it's currently going for them. They just don't have, the team that's capable of being able to slow down some of these top offensive teams. I mean, the Pelicans are good. Don't get me wrong on the offensive end. But imagine the Thunder going up against the Celtics at full strength. The Celtics are shooting lights out from 3. It's game over. That game's going to be like 140 to 110 or 115. The Thunder won't have a chance. They're going to have to improve on the defensive end in the future. They have a lot of young guys, so it's definitely excusable at this stage in the game. But they're definitely going to have to find a way to get better on the defensive end if they want to be a good team in the future. Edwards said just need Rob to develop that 14 to 16-foot jump shot like KG. Yeah, you're right. If Robert Williams can hit a mid-range shot, I mean, he literally at that point becomes unstoppable. I think you look at a lot of these players that are still in college basketball. Look at Oscar Tshiebwe. Look at Trace Jackson-Davis, who is declaring for the draft. If these guys have mid-range shots, they're in the pros already. Now, Trace Jackson-Davis has gotten better in so many other areas, but if he shoots mid-range shots in the NBA, he don't even have to shoot threes. He'll be a great player for any NBA team. But if he never develops that jump shot, it's hard to be efficient in the modern-day NBA unless you're 7 foot that catches lobs and just a great rebounder. It's very interesting. That's why players like Tristan Thompson, I think, who just got signed with the Lakers, are struggling to stay in the league because of the fact Tristan Thompson is an undersized center that can't shoot, and he's not good at the line. It's very difficult for teams to want players like him anymore, especially when they can get these guys that can shoot the threes that are tall. There's so many guys that can shoot threes now that are 6'11", 7 foot, that it makes it very difficult for these guys that can't shoot to be in the league now. Edwards said he was playing in the playoffs last year on a torn meniscus and was amazing with that. Yeah, I remember, now that you say that, Edward, that Robert Williams played, but he didn't play the whole series, though. He did not make it the whole time. He was out. I think that overall he didn't finish the series. If he had been able to finish the series, I think that the Celtics could have won the whole thing. But if I remember right, if my memory is correct, he did not play the whole time. He missed some games, and that's what hurt them in the end. But you could be right if you if you're saying that he played the whole time. Maybe he did, but I thought he did not play the whole time. But overall, it's gonna be very interesting. I hope Robert Williams can stay healthy so we can see what the Celtics can be this season with a healthy team. Jeff says Smart is fantastic on defense too. 100%. I mean, Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year, I think, in 2021, if that was the correct year. And Marcus Smart is a guard, and that award has been dominated by centers and forwards the last few years. I mean, you're not getting guards winning that award anymore, because there's so many tall guys that are so great at defense that they just don't give the award anymore to guards. And I understand that, but I think they should. I think it should go to the best defensive player. I think a player like OG Anunoby should have a great chance to win it this year. I don't think he will, but he's done great, leads the league in steals, great blocker. But yeah, Marcus Smart, especially that year, deserved it, but he's still great at defense. Edwards said Sam Hauser, Mike Muscala, Peyton Pritchard, and Luke Cornett Sells has the best depth in the NBA. And imagine that those players you just mentioned barely play. Sam Hauser plays some, but Peyton Pritchard barely plays at all, and he had a triple-double in the game that he finally was able to shine. Peyton Pritchard's great, and Luke Cornett's solid backup center. Mike Muscala, they got him as well. He plays a bit. That's the deep bench. I mean, that is the absolute fringes of the depth chart for the Celtics, and they're still solid players. Edward Austin, I can't wait to see more of J.D. Davison. He has a lot of potential as well. And they're showing that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the fewest first-half points that he's ever had, this season. He only has 7 first-half points. That's not very good for him at all. And his team's only down by 6. It's not terrible, but he's going to have to get going. He knows it too. This is all on Gilgeous-Alexander. He has to play at a high level in the second half for his team to have a shot. He has the ball. He takes a mid-range shot, and he knocks it down. Okay, it looks like Gilgeous-Alexander might be figuring it out a bit. 63-59. 11:30 to go in the third. Gilgeous-Alexander with 9 points and 3 rebounds. Trey Murphy, the third, with the ball. The high upside wing for the Pelicans. Now Brandon Ingram swings to Trey Murphy. Now it's down low to Jonas on the left block with Jalen Williams guard. Now down to Herb Jones. Herb Jones goes up strong, and he loses the ball out of bounds. Good defense by Oklahoma City. I haven't said that too much tonight, but that was a good defensive play there. Now Jalen Williams with the ball at the top of the key. Now he kicks to Josh Giddey, who had a pretty solid first half. He missed some easy layups, but he had a solid first half. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he knocks down a 3, and now he's up to 12 points. That's a really good sign for Thunder fans. Gilgeous-Alexander with the first 5 points of the second half. Now CJ McCollum driving and kicks in the corner, and you've got Trey Murphy the third with a 3. He has 18 points. He has been a big asset for the Pelicans in this game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the turnover. Great defense by the Pelicans. They read his pass like a book, telegraphed it. Now you got Brandon Ingram in the lane. Kicks to Trey Murphy again, and Trey Murphy couldn't make that shot. That would have been big if he had to hit another one. And now you got Herb Jones down low and a swat by Jalen Williams. It will remain Pelicans basketball. 10:27 to go in the third. 66-62. OKC down by 4. Nice start to the second half by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And now you've got Herb Jones at the foul line. And his first free throw is not good. It does not go in. That is tough for the Pelicans. I think that might be their first missed free throw of the game. They were doing a great job at the foul. Maybe they did. I think maybe Jonas might have missed one in the first half. So that's their second missed free throw. Now Herb Jones. His second free throw is up. And it is good. 67-62. 10:20 to go in the third. And you've got the Thunder bringing the ball up the floor. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the basketball. He's got 12 points now. Over to Josh Giddey. Swings to Lagoons Dort. Dort kicks it out to Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, he turns the basketball over, but CJ McCollum loses it out of bounds. It will remain Thunder basketball. Good defense by McCollum. Jalen Williams drove out of control into the lane and lost the basketball. And now the refs are going over to review something. I don't know if it was a kick ball or something like that, but they're talking about it. But it's 67-62, New Orleans, 10:08 to go in the third. The Thunder are definitely trying to hang in there in this game. Now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be starting to get it going a little bit. That is a good sign overall for the Thunder. And they had a couple of good defensive stops to start this third quarter. But the Pelicans are still playing pretty solid on the offensive end, making life very difficult for OKC. Now Josh Giddey inbounds the ball to Jalen Williams, and his three is short. Now you've got Trey Murphy, who's had a great game driving into the lane. Trey Murphy, the third's confidence is through the roof. He's got 20 points, 69-62. That is huge for the Pelicans to have the third leading scorer for them right now have 20 points. And now Josh Giddey on the other end with a layup. Solid play by Giddey. Recognizes the situation. The Thunder are starting to fall behind a bit and gets a good bucket down low. That's a really good shot. 69-64. Now you've got Herb Jones falling on the deck. Thunder with the ball. And you've got Josh Giddey laying it in. 3-point game. 69-66. 9:20 to go in the third. Nice play. CJ McCollum shoots a three. His three is offline. And it is off of the Pelicans. Thunder basketball. Tim says, what's up at Only Talk Sports? Thanks for being here, Tim. Thanks a lot. We got a big game here between the Pelicans and the Thunder in the playing game. But thanks everyone for being here tonight. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But thanks for being here, guys. More importantly for this game, I really appreciate it. Lagoons Dort for the Thunder shoots a three. And it's offline. Trey Murphy misses another three. And now you've got the Thunder going down the other way. Lagoons Dort into the lane, taking contact. His shot is blocked, and the Thunder retain. Jalen Williams for three from Arkansas, and his three is off. Jonas with the rebound for the Pelicans. He has to have like 13 boards now. Brandon Ingram over to Herb Jones, and Herb Jones' shot is off. He gets the ball back, and he loses it. Jalen Williams from Santa Clara with the rebound. Over to Lagoons Dort in the corner. He fakes the three. Dort driving in the lane, and I think they call a blocking foul on CJ McCollum. And maybe a goaltend. I think they might have called a goaltend as well. 69-68. I think they might have blocked the shot after it hit glass, and they did. Jonas blocked it, but it already hit glass. So they're going to give the points to Lagoons Dort. And he's got a free throw as well. One of those rare plays where you get the goaltend and the free throw. And Lagoons Dort has 22 points. He's 7-11 from the field, 4-5 from three, 4-5 at the line. And he hits the free throw. He's got 23 points. He's been great in this game. 69-69. 8:20 to go in the third. 7-0 run by the Thunder. Jonas with the ball to CJ McCollum. And CJ McCollum kicks to Brandon Ingram. Down low. Brandon Ingram trying to make a move. He's driving in. Turns shoulder on Dort, and he knocks down the mid-range shot. What a play by Brandon Ingram. Pelicans back in front, 71-69. Under 8 to go in the third. Now Josh Giddey driving it to Jalen Williams. He fakes the three, and Jalen Williams lays it in. That's a talented play by the 6'10 forward. A really nice play. Faking the ball from the top of the key and getting it to fall. 71-71. 7:40 to go in the third. Jonas with the ball to CJ McCollum. McCollum's been a little quiet. And I think they might have called a foul on Lagoons Dort. He does not like the foul call there. Most NBA players don't. Specifically when it's the weak calls. Let's see. I think it's that little bit of hands right there by Lagoons Dort that they give him the foul call. It is what it is for him. But it's 71-71. 7:30 to go in the third. CJ McCollum kicks to Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram, I think they called him for a push-off. He definitely pushed off there, and they give the offensive foul. So it's Thunder ball with the chance to retake the lead. They have not had the lead in a few minutes. The Pelicans have been dominating in this game. Right now, the Thunder with the ball with a chance to retake the lead with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only having 12 points. He has the basketball. He's driving into the lane. He goes up strong off glass, lays it in, and fouled. What a play by Gilgeous-Alexander. He's starting to heat up. He's got 14. 73-71. That's a great play by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Driving into the lane, taking contact. Off glass and one. They call the foul on Herb Jones, who is a great defender, but they do not give Herb Jones the clean defensive call there. They give him a foul. And now you've got Gilgeous-Alexander putting his Thunder team up by 3, and he's up to 15 points, 8 in this quarter. He's got more points in this quarter than he had in the whole first half. Great sign for OKC. Now you've got McCollum with the basketball, his team down 3. He's trying to drive in. McCollum with it. He goes up strong, and he loses it, but there's a foul on OKC. The fouls are starting to mount up for both teams right now. In this third quarter, the physicality is off the charts. Both teams are playing so hard. And CJ McCollum is a solid free throw shooter. He's at the foul line for 2 to try to cut the Thunder lead down to 1. They're down by 3 right now. McCollum's first free throw is up and in. 74-72. 7:01 to go in the third. And CJ McCollum will have one more free throw after this. He only has 5 points in this game. I think if the Pelicans are going to win this game, McCollum definitely needs to step up his game in the rest of this third quarter and the fourth quarter. His second free throw is no good. He's still at 5 points. Definitely needs to start getting going for the Pelicans to win. Giddey in the lane. And Giddey for 2. Nice shot by Josh Giddey. And the Thunder have responded. You got to give them credit there. They have responded. 76-72. And they're now up by 4 on the Pelicans. Giddey with 18 points and 6 assists. McCollum kicks to Herb Jones. Herb Jones goes up strong and he lays it in. And now the Pelicans are down by 2 again. 76-74. 6:30 to go in the third quarter. Josh Giddey with the basketball for the Thunder. He has 18 points, kicks to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's now up to 15 points. Alexander with the ball. He does a spin move in the lane. He lays it up off glass and in. What a play. Split the double team. He's up to 17 points. He's really playing well now. 78-74. Now Brandon Ingram. And they call a foul, I think, on the Thunder. Or they actually might have called a timeout. There is a timeout on the floor. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens right there. But we got the Thunder up by a little bit over the Pelicans. A close game overall, and it should be a good game down the wire. James says, I'm not too high on Kornet. I can see that. Some people are, some people aren't. He is a 7-footer that does provide some speed, and he does have the capability of shooting the ball, but I can see that. That's why he's definitely at the bottom of the rotation, but I understand that. Edwards says Smart can defend 1 through 5, which is very rare for a guard. Yeah, especially looking at a player like Marcus Smart only being 6'4", 6'5", and he can guard all those positions. It's incredible. That's why he's a great defender for sure. Everson either, but he gives us good minutes at times. Yeah, Kornet comes in and just plays hard. You got to give Kornet credit there for sure. But we got 96 Esco X. Thanks for being here. He said, what's up, all? Looks like we got another good game, Only Talk Sports. Thanks for being here, and we do for sure. It looked like the Pelicans early on were going to blow out the Thunder. Then the Thunder rushed back. Lagoons Dort was on fire, and then the Thunder took the lead. But then the Pelicans retook it back at the half. But now the Thunder have responded yet again. And things are starting to trend back in the right direction for the Thunder. But it's been an up-and-down game. It's been a lot of fun. Both teams playing at a high level. And you love to see the effort and the energy by both these teams. It's one of those situations where you can tell both these teams want to win. Especially the Thunder and the fact that they haven't had a lot of success lately in years. And they have a young team. They're hungry and they're playing really hard. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is starting to wake up. He did not have a great first half, but he's really starting to get it together in this third quarter. And you look at the Pelicans, CJ McCollum only has 5 points, but I think the Pelicans are only down by 2. That's a good sign for the Pelicans. If CJ McCollum can get things going along with Brandon Ingram, then they'll be in great shape because Trey Murphy III is having himself a great game. He is playing really well. He's got like 20 points. He's hit a couple threes. He's playing well all around. And Jonas Valanciunas, he is having a solid game for the Pelicans as well. He's got a double-double. And as you say as well, 96, he says, you know what's crazy? They're doing all of this without Chet Holmgren. And that's crazy because Chet Holmgren was their prime draft pick in this past year's draft. And he was supposed to do a lot of things for the team this year. And he was not able to play because he got hurt before the season, which is unfortunate. That's the one bad thing about really tall players that are thin. They are definitely injury prone. Hopefully he won't be injury prone throughout his career. He's such a talented player. But you look at the Thunder, they weren't supposed to have this success this year. And yeah, they squeaked in the playoffs. And the Mavericks should have been in, but the Mavericks completely collapsed. You know, everybody blaming Irving. It is what it is. Irving comes over and they go from 4th to 11th, but the Thunder sneak in. Gilgeous-Alexander's been awesome, but Josh Giddey, that was a great draft pick by the Thunder. He's played fantastic. Jalen Williams was a great draft pick as well. He's playing awesome. And if they can get Chet Holmgren back and maybe get a couple of veterans in the future, they could be a good team if their players improve. The Thunder have a bright future. And they definitely can keep the team together. Jeff, he hasn't said anything in a while. Thanks still for being here. He said it stinks on Chet because he's fantastic. For sure. I mean, he has the ball skills. Kind of like how everybody's talking about Victor Wembanyama, the French player who's going to be in the, the 2023 NBA draft. And he's 7'4", I think, and he can shoot and drive and do all these things. So he's almost like a bigger Chet Holmgren. So it's going to be crazy to see Victor Wembanyama in the league, but hopefully for him, he stays healthy as well. You don't want another tall player getting hurt. But I think they call it technical. There was a technical foul somehow on the Thunder, and New Orleans went to the line. 4-1 free throw, and Trey Murphy adding to his point total in this game. He knocks down the free throw. And now the Pelicans are down by 3, 78-75, 6 to go in the third. Jonas to CJ McCollum. McCollum for 3, and it's no good. Ingram almost had the rebound. Now you've got OKC. OKC's driving in. You got Dort kicking to Jalen Williams. Now to Josh Giddey. And Giddey thought about the step back too. He kicks over to Lagoon's Dort, and now Dort's driving in. He goes up strong, and he gets the layup to fall. What a crazy shot. That is insane. Dort is a junkyard dog. He is such a good player driving into the lane. Nobody can stop him. He's got 25 points in this game, 80-75. And the Pelicans need to play some defense as well. Both teams are struggling on the defensive end. This is a high-scoring game. Brandon Ingram with the ball. Brandon Ingram, is that going to be an offensive? They don't call anything. They do not call the offensive foul. Dort fell. Well, like maybe it was a push-off, but Ingram gets the 2, 80-77. Ingram has 14 points, 4 boards, 5 assists. Now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has been heating up in this game, he shoots a mid-range, and he gets the toilet bowl to fall, 82-77. 4:50 to go in the third. Great shot by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now the Thunder up 5 again, 82-77. Both these teams are definitely going to break 100 and more in this game. Both teams are on fire. A lot of the players are on fire. Ingram with the ball. He's driving into the lane, and Ingram with that great play and one. 82-79. Brandon Ingram is slithery. Silky smooth getting the ball in the lane. That's a great play. Jeff says, I'm on a beverage break, laughing out loud. Well, again, appreciate you still being here for sure. Definitely got to get a beverage while watching a game like this. Maybe eat some, some snacks. These are some big games. And this is just the beginning of the playoffs. We have so many more big games coming up, and I am looking forward to it. But I appreciate all you guys for being here tonight. You guys are all awesome and making this a great stream. Brandon Ingram, he is at the line. He's got 16 points after that made bucket. And he could get up to 17 points with this free throw and get the Pelicans within 2, and he does not make the free throw. Got to make your free throws. 82-79. 4:30 to go in the third quarter. Jalen Williams with the basketball at the top of the key for Oklahoma City. Now over to Josh Giddey. Now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's trying to shake and bake in the lane. He goes up strong. There is a foul on Herb Jones. Herb Jones picked up a couple fouls in the third quarter. He's trying to play good defense, but unfortunately for him, he just has not been able to stay in front of his man and just getting fouls drawn on him. A lot of fouls being called on Herb Jones. Still a really great defender, but he is definitely better at stealing than post defense. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander took advantage of that play, went right into his body, and got the foul drawn and called. And Gilgeous-Alexander hits the first. 83-79, 4:22 to go in the third. Really impressive with the Thunder responding the way they have in this game. You saw the way they were playing. They were starting to really struggle, and it looked like potentially the Thunder were going to fall behind in this game, but they've responded with authority in this third quarter. And Gilgeous-Alexander is now up to 21 points, looking like a more standard game for him. 84-79 Thunder over the Pelicans. 4 to go in the third. Herb Jones is 18 points and 3 fouls. Herb Jones with the ball, and he turns it over. Big mistake by Herb Jones, throwing it over the head of Jackson Hayes. Now you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball, and he's been on fire in this third quarter. He's driving in again. Mid-range shot, and he misses. Almost a putback by Lagunes Dort, but can't get it to drop. Now the Pelicans down the floor. Brandon Ingram over to Walker in the corner. And now you've got Brandon Ingram with the ball again. Ingram, he takes the mid-range. What a play by Brandon Ingram. Mid-range shot, and he knocks it down. 84-81. You got to give props to Brandon Ingram the way he's playing. He's got 18 points. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander effortlessly down the lane lays it in. This game's going back and forth. You can't even keep up with the action. 86-81. 3:20 to go in the third quarter. Not a lot of defense. So much great offense. Jackson Hayes with the ball for the Pelicans. At the top of the key. He kicks it over to Josh Richardson, now to Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram trying to drive, and he gets fouled. It looks like he might have some free throws to give both teams a breather. And now on the ground is Lagunes Dort holding his face. Hopefully he is okay. It looked like he maybe took a shot to the head. Hopefully he will be okay. This game is definitely getting physical. There's a lot of physicality in this game. You can't blame either team. The amount of stakes that are in this game. If you lose, you're out of the playoffs, but the refs are going over to the monitor to review what happened. 86-81, Oklahoma City over New Orleans, 3:11 to go in the third. Brandon Ingram was driving in, and his elbow did make contact with Lagunes Dort's head. It was inadvertent. It was definitely inadvertent contact, but yeah, he is feeling that. That stinks for Lagunes Dort. He took a big shot by Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram is a thin player, so his elbow is very pointy, and it hurt. And he went up strong, and he got Lagunes Dort hard on the face. Lagunes Dort is a tough player. I'm sure for him, hopefully he will be able to take the contact, be able to remain in this game. But Lagunes Dort, hopefully he'll be okay. You definitely don't want a player like him getting a concussion. Hopefully he'll be all right. Player safety is definitely important, and he is definitely in a lot of pain. I don't know if they're going to call a technical foul on Brandon Ingram. I mean, yes, when it's involving the head or neck area, you always have to review it for sure, but it was inadvertent contact. There's no way that Brandon Ingram meant to do that at all. There's no way. It's just one of those things where, you know, you're driving into the lane and you make contact with the player that you're driving on, and it's inadvertent. But they might call it because of how big the hit was on Lagunes Dort. Man, he took a big shot. Man, they keep showing it. I hope Lagunes Dort's all right, man. That's just a big hit. So unfortunate. Especially the way Dort was playing. He was having such a great game. He's had like 25 points. You just don't want him to be banged up like that. And they do call the technical. I understand that. I can definitely see it, specifically in how hard he got hit. Lagunes Dort, he's over there trying to shake it off. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shoots the technical free throw, and he knocks it down. So it's 87-81. Brandon Ingram gets the technical foul there. Like I said, I don't think he meant to do it, but that was such a hard hit. Definitely don't want to see injuries like that in these big games. But right now, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they had to take Lagunes Dort out of the game. They're probably going to check on to make sure he's okay before he can re-enter. Now Brandon Ingram shoots some free throws off the foul, and it's 87-82. This game is very physical for sure. Both these teams want to win. You definitely can tell, but you just don't want injuries to happen, especially when they could be avoidable. Yes, Brandon Ingram no way meant and intended to hit Lagunes Dort in the head, but that was a hard hit. But you got Brandon Ingram making up for it for the Pelicans, hitting both free throws. It's 87-83. 3 to go in the third quarter. Winner faces Minnesota for the 8th seed. Loser is eliminated from the playoffs. Josh Giddey with the basketball. He's driving and kicks to Jalen Williams. Now it's out to the other Jalen Williams. 4-3 in Santa Clara. Jalen Williams is short. Jalen Williams from Arkansas with the rebound. And now Jalen Williams from Santa Clara with the layup. The Jalen Williams have a tag team out there. 89-83. 2:30 to go in the third. Pelicans down 6. Herb Jones with the basketball kicks to Jackson Hayes. Now to Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's driving in again into the lane. Trying not to get another technical called on him. Brandon Ingram with the ball again. Takes the mid-range, and he misses the shot. Isaiah Joe with the rebound. And the Thunder up by 6 and looking for more. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's been on fire in this third quarter. 89-83. Kicks over to Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, and he's too long on the 3. Josh Giddey with the offensive rebound. The Thunder have been going after the ball and getting a lot of rebounds. They've been doing a great job in this game of that. Now Josh Giddey into the lane. And Josh Giddey lays it in, and now he's banged up on the ground. And Richardson's banged up as well. Both these teams are playing hard. There's a lot of physicality, a lot of sweat on the floor. So much physicality in this game. And we have a TV timeout. Edwards says, problem with both Chet and Victor is they will get bullied in the paint. They are lightweight. I agree with you there. That's the issue. How can you be able to stop players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid? You're not going to be able to do that with all, those type players in the league. And you're going to have, Chet Holmgren at his weight and Victor Wembanyama. There's no way. They're going to really struggle on the defensive end, and you don't want them getting hurt and, tearing ACLs and hurting their legs. And if they get hurt too much, they won't be able to play in the league. So while they're great talents and they can do so many things, injuries could definitely hurt their careers. 96 XGoX says Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is cool money with the mid-range. The mid-range is not dead. Players should continue to shoot the mid-range. It's a very high-efficient shot. Yes, it's not a 3. You're not getting that extra point. But sometimes the best shot isn't always a 3. Taking a guy off the dribble and pulling up for 2 is a good play as well. I know players that are really good at the mid-range shot, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is really good in the mid-range, like you said. You're absolutely right. Jeff said Ingram did that on a bad ankle too. Yeah, he's still banged up. He hurt his ankle earlier. He's playing great. He's been really solid in this game. It's unfortunate that it happened with the technical, but Brandon Ingram is playing really well. And if he can continue to play at a high level, and if the Pelicans can finally get C.J. McCollum to play well, the Pelicans will have a great chance to win. C.J. McCollum is not having his best game so far, and the Pelicans are hanging around. But the Thunder are doing a great job on the offensive end, specifically in the fact that how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's woken up in this game. He's playing great. 96 SGoX is SGA, get out of the way. He is such a good player. I mean, the amount of double teams he's split in this game, and he's able to just spin around and do all the things that he does. He's not just a good shooter. He's just a great overall player on the offensive end. He's fantastic getting in the lane. Jeff says he doesn't agree with the technical. I can see that. I mean, it was inadvertent contact, so I see where you're coming from there, that it should have been a technical foul. But I think it was how hard the hit was on Lagoon's Dort. They go over and look at the tape, and Lagoon's Dort got hit really good in the head. And I think that's where, they called it. It probably wouldn't have been called if, he wasn't hit as hard and Lagoon's Dort wasn't banged up as much. I definitely agree with you that it was inadvertent, so I can see why, it shouldn't have been called, but I definitely understand why it was called, because to 96 SOS point, this game is getting extremely physical. And you want to nip that in the bud. You don't want to allow the physicality to continue, and then injuries can happen based off of instances that could have been prevented by calling a technical to kind of simmer the players down a bit. Even though it is frustrating for Brandon Ingram because he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He wasn't trying to hurt Lagoon's Dort. He hit him pretty good, and I definitely understand why they called it, but I understand your point as well, Jeff, 100%. But it is going to be very interesting to see how this game ends. The Thunder are up by 6 right now. They're kind of in control of this game, but their defense definitely can let down in this game and allow the Pelicans to be able to come back. and win this game. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Can the Pelicans come back and win? Can CJ McCollum get going? Or will the Thunder hold on and be the second 10 seed to win and move on, just like you saw with the Chicago Bulls beating the Toronto Raptors, a 10 seed winning for the first time? That is huge. But now you've got the Thunder up 91-83. And Josh Giddey at the line, and he knocks down a shot. It's 92-83, a 9-point lead for the Thunder. 20 assists to 4 turnovers of the team. They've been great on the offensive end. It's the defense they've struggled, but they've even picked that up in this second half. But as I say that, CJ McCollum comes out of nowhere and gets a big layup. 92-85. That's a big play right there. The Pelicans have cut the lead down to 7 for the Thunder. That's a huge play by McCollum. Maybe that will get him going. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander into the lane. He misses the shot, and now the Pelicans are running the floor. They've been great at the end of quarters. And McCollum had a good-looking three, but it did not drop. 92-85. 1:10 to go in the third quarter. And you've got 5 threes made by the Pelicans, 9 threes made by the Thunder, and a really hot Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the floor in the third quarter. He is on fire. And Josh Giddey, he shoots a three and knocks it down. 95-85. What a shot by Josh Giddey. Giddey's on fire. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on fire. And the Thunder on offense right now are hitting everything. And this is looking great for the Thunder. If they can keep this up for one more quarter, they'll be moving on. But CJ McCollum determined not to let that happen, and his shot's no good. Now Jackson Hayes with the rebound, and he gets fouled. Thankfully for Jackson Hayes and for the Pelicans, they finally got a board and were able to slow down the momentum for the Thunder. It's really interesting right now. The Thunder are really struggling on the defensive end this year, but not in this game in this third quarter. They were in the first half, but the Thunder are doing a great job in this third quarter on defense. And the Pelicans are struggling on the offensive end. Jackson Hayes shoots the free throw, and it goes in. So the lead is down to 9. It's 95-86. 41 seconds left in the third. Josh Giddey, he's over to the bench. He's just a solid player all around. He does so many things well for the Thunder. Great player with the potential to get so much better. And Jackson Hayes, he hits the second free throw. So it's 95-87. Big free throws for the Pelicans. Pelicans don't want to get down by more than 10 at this point in the game. Got to keep it close. Jalen Williams almost loses the basketball, but he keeps. He's driving in on Herb Jones. And Jalen Williams is short on the layup, but they call another foul on the Pelicans. Well, if that's on Herb Jones, that might be his 4th. That's really tough there. Herb Jones is a really good defender, but he is having a difficult time in this game stopping the other team on the defensive end off the dribble. It's really been a tough struggle for Herb Jones on that end of the floor. Really good player, but you cannot let the guys get penetration on the other team so easily. And Jalen Williams, he gave him too much space, and he just drove into the lane by him, and then he was able to lay it up and in. Even though he didn't get the shot to fall, now he's at the line. And it's 96-87. 27 seconds left in the third quarter. This game's going to look like it could go down to the wire if the Pelicans can come back in this game, but it's starting to wind down on this game. It's been a great night of NBA action. The Raptors-Bulls was a fantastic game with the Bulls prevailing over the Raptors, and we might have a really good finish here as well between the Pelicans and Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder, though, playing great basketball. And Jalen Williams could not hit the second free throw, so it's still 96-87. Only up by 9. Herb Jones now with 4 fouls. But it's now or never for the Pelicans. They need a big bucket to get some momentum at the end of the third quarter. Brandon Ingram with the ball. Jalen Williams guarding him at the Pelicans logo. Now Brandon Ingram. He's making his move. He's driving to the lane. He drives up hard, and there's an offensive foul on Brandon Ingram, and he's so upset. But they call an offensive foul. It looks like potentially the defense for the Thunder was outside the restricted area. And if it was, it looks like it could be a charge. Let's see. So you had Dario Saric taking the charge. Was his foot on the line? I don't think they're going to give it to him for the Pelicans on the blocking foul, but it looks like it potentially could have been a block. His foot might have been on the line, but they might show the replay again after the timeout. But this has been a fantastic game. Really interesting. 96 says Josh Giddey can affect games by doing more than just scoring. You're absolutely right, 96. I think you look at Josh Giddey, he's one of those players that just plays his role. And he just does a really good job all over the floor. He passes well. He takes the shots when they're there for him. He rebounds at a high level. And he never wants to take the credit or like shine or gloat on the floor. He's just a really good player. Buckeye Mike says, hey, everyone, thanks for being here, Buckeye Mike. 96 says, what's up? How you feeling tonight? And Mike says, I'm doing okay, still congested, excited for this weekend filled with sports, NBA playoffs, XFL football, and USF football opening weekend. I completely agree with you, Mike. There's so much great stuff happening in sports right now. You got the NBA, and you've got football as well, the alternate leagues, a lot of good action in sports. I'm looking forward to it as well, and hopefully you feel better. Always don't like it when anybody's sick. Hope you feel better, man. But thanks for being here. Thanks, everyone, for being here tonight. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But more importantly, I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys make these streams awesome. I really appreciate it. But what a game we got between these two teams. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he drove into the lane for the Thunder. Did a layup before the buzzer, but it does not drop. 96-87, end of the third quarter. Lagoon Store with 25, Josh Giddey with 24, and Gilgeous-Alexander with 23. All three players playing great, but Lagoon Store got knocked out. Hopefully he'll be okay. 96 says Josh Giddey quietly just delivers, doesn't show out too much, just gets it done and keeps it moving. A pro's pro. You're absolutely right, 96. Like you just said, with Josh Giddey, he doesn't like gloat on the floor. He doesn't like shine what he's doing. He just goes out there and plays at a high level and doesn't take any credit for it. And I think that that's a sign of a player that's going to have a great future in the NBA because he's just going to continue, to have great games. He's going to get better and improve his craft and start playing even better basketball in the future. And that's a great sign for the Thunder, specifically if Chet Holmgren does not work out. Now, if Chet Holmgren can come back and play at a high level, then hopefully everything will be okay there. But Josh Giddey is just a fantastic basketball player. He goes out there and plays at a high level game in and game out. And he was a huge addition overall for the Thunder that for this past year's team. Drafting him might have been an even bigger move than getting Chet Holmgren if Chet Holmgren doesn't work out. Josh Giddey was a great move to get. He's a fantastic player from Australia, and hopefully Chet Holmgren will be okay because he is a fun player to watch. 96 I still don't get the XFL game, and Fuzz is XFL really good. Laughing, I'd rather watch NCAA football and NFL. Yeah, it's one of those things where if you love football, you're going to watch anything. If you love watching football, you'll watch the USFL or the XFL. No, they're not college football, and they're not the NFL, but they're fun leagues to watch if you love football. I like watching them. I definitely like to watch the players that missed the cut in the NFL, and a lot of former players we got to see in college be able to play again. But I do see it while some people who really like to see fantastic football, high quality football between great teams, why they don't want to watch either league. But it is still fun football. 96 says any franchise can just stack draft pick. Takes a real good GM and scout team to find gems, stars in the draft. KC is great scouts and managers. They put some real quality around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, and that is what you have to do. You have to do that. You can't have a star and just be like, well, we got a star player. We don't have to draft any more talent, or we don't have to evaluate and do anything else. Yes, you do. You got to get more really good players. You have to be able to draft a team around your star, because if not, you're not going to be able to keep, the star talent that you have. They're going to want to go elsewhere. They're going to want to be traded, and they will get traded. You got to be able to keep your stars happy. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a really young player. He's not in any, hurry to leave Oklahoma City. And if you build a team around him, he'll want to stay. Durant and Westbrook were fine with the Thunder, but they never got anybody else around, and they never had success outside of winning some playoff games. They wanted more. So over the Thunder, keep doing what you're doing. Draft diamond in the rough players. Get some good players. Maybe get a couple of veterans for, low, risk veterans that are not going to be too expensive to get, and maybe you can have a really good team in a couple of years with more development from the young guys. Buckeye Mike says USFL is a better product than the XFL, but they're both good ball, and they are really just there to hold over the real ball fans. Yes, football, if you're a football fan just loves the sport, you're going to watch anything. You're going to watch both. But yes, the NFL is by far way better. College football is way better. I would say the USFL is a bit better as well. 96 ESCO-X says, Chet and Josh Giddey were building great chemistry early in camp in the preseason before Chet got hurt. 100% in the summer league, they were on fire. Both were playing great. So hopefully he can come back and be healthy, and the Thunder could be dangerous in the future. But now the fourth quarter starting. Josh Richardson with the ball. Swings over to Najee. Marshall's in the game, and Marshall drives up and in. What a play by Najee Marshall, 96-89. Pelicans are not done yet, only down by 7. 11:30 to go in the fourth, and Josh Giddey into the lane. What a play by Josh Giddey. That was a fantastic drive into the lane. Josh Giddey is just on fire. He's got like 26 points, and he shows no signs of slowing down in this game. Really playing some good basketball. 11:10 to go in the fourth. C.J. McCollum drives into the lane, and C.J. McCollum's on fire as well. 98-91. Both teams are playing some great basketball. 11 to go in the fourth. And you've got Josh Giddey with the basketball. Kicks to Dario Saric. Now it's over to Jalen Williams. Great passing from the Thunder. They have not had a lot of turnovers. Isaiah Joe, he fakes the three, drives into the lane, and now it looks like a top. 10:47 to go in the fourth. And Isaiah Joe probably should have taken the three, but he wanted to go off the dribble, but he does lose the basketball, and it is a top. And it looks like he might have hurt his foot a little bit, but it looks like he might be okay. So now you've got Josh Richardson and Isaiah Joe tipping the ball, and the Pelicans get the basketball. 10:40 to go in the fourth. Now you've got the Pelicans trying to get back in this game, down by 7. C.J. McCollum to Josh Richardson in the corner. He shoots the three and knocks it down. Josh Richardson cuts it to 4. 98-94. The Pelicans are trying to get back in this game. 10:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Josh Giddey with the ball. Josh Giddey drives up, and he misses the floater. The tide might be turning in this game. C.J. McCollum with the basketball. C.J. McCollum down to Jonas. Valencius on the block. Jonas goes up strong, and he lays it in. Pelicans have cut it to 2. 98-96. 9:59 to go in the fourth. And are the Thunder going to blow the game? Are the Thunder going to have a big lead and lose it just like the Timberwolves did? And a lot of other teams we've seen, even the Raptors as well. So many teams have blown their leads in these big playoff games. And obviously the Thunder don't have as much talent as the Pelicans overall from top to bottom. And a lot of people were not really expecting, the Thunder to be able to win. But right now, the Pelicans are going on that run that a lot of people were expecting them to make finally, and they're doing it. They're starting to get it all together. And if they can take the lead in this game, I think there's a really good chance that they can get this win. The Thunder need to keep the lead. They cannot, blow the show. They cannot blow this game. The Thunder, they had a really good chance. They have a great shot to be able to win. I think overall, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. But I do think looking at the Thunder, if they are not able to turn it around soon, then there is a good shot that they're not going to be able to win because the Pelicans just have the depth. The Pelicans are a team that is built to be behind. There's a lot of basketball teams in college that are this way as well. When you're down in a game and you have a deficit like 8 points or 10 points, you're able to come back and get the win. I don't think the Thunder are really built for that because their defense isn't there. Their offense is great. Yes, they could be down 10 and maybe go on a huge run, hitting a bunch of threes, and then get back in the game. And I think the Thunder have been better on defense overall, but they have not done good in the last couple minutes. They've been really solid on defense for parts of this game, but you can tell they just can't do it for a full 48 minutes, which is difficult to do in the NBA because there's so many great players in the league, and the Pelicans are really talented. But the Thunder on that last run just allowed the Pelicans to erase the lead the Thunder had. 96 says, if the Pelicans lose, Zion Williamson ought to be ashamed of himself. That's a good one, too, because of the fact you look at, Zion Williamson. He's a great player. Like, the talent Zion Williamson possesses is undeniable. again, nobody will deny the talent that is there for Zion Williamson. He is a fantastic basketball player. But unfortunately, for Zion Williamson, he's injury prone. He is out a lot. And you never want to put the injury prone label on a basketball player. But the Pelicans need Zion to be healthy. You're paying him the money. You have him. Yeah, he was your top pick. You have him on your team. And it doesn't do any good if he's not playing. It's very unfortunate. You just don't want to feel that way about it. I do think overall that, it's not over yet, for Zion Williamson's future with the Pelicans. It's nowhere near over. I think there's still a great chance for him to be able to, turn his career around with the Pelicans by staying healthy. If he can get some health on his side and some luck in that regard, then maybe he can finally have some success, for a long period of time. Because when he's played, he's been great. He averaged like 27 points, but it's about being in the game, being there all season long. You've got to be available for the Pelicans to warrant keeping him. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But right now, this game has been dominated by the Thunder in the third and fourth quarter so far, but the Pelicans finally have gone on a run, and they've cut the Thunder lead down to 2. It's 98-96. A lot of people are expecting the Pelicans to win, and they could if they can get the job done. 9:50 to go in the fourth, and the Thunder are up by 2. Isaiah Joe kicks it back out to Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams with the basketball from Santa Clara. Can he make a move? He's driving on Najee Marshall. And you missed the layup. Jalen Williams had it. He missed the layup, and now the Pelicans can retake the lead or at least tie with a 2. 98-96. 9:20 to go in the fourth. And you've got Najee Marshall with the basketball. CJ McCollum with the basketball. He misses the shot. That's tough right there, and there's a foul. I think it's probably going to be on the Pelicans. Mike says, I'll be here until the end, bro. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate that, Buckeye Mike. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the future. Obviously, the future is uncertain. But I'm definitely going to be looking forward to what happens with all these games. But I really appreciate that, Mike. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. 96 is, well, Oklahoma City needs a timeout. New Orleans is very much alive. Yeah, they're in this game, and they could win. Isaiah Joe driving into the lane. Now over to Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams goes up strong, and his shot goes in. What a play by Jalen Williams. 100-96. Mike says, did you see that Jamar Smith said about having XFL champion play USFL champion to see which league is really better? He believes it will happen soon. That'll be interesting if that happens. That'd be a crazy crossover, but who knows whether that will happen or not. Now you've got a 196 game. Pelicans with the ball. CJ McCollum kicks to Najee Marshall for a wide open 3. And his shot is no good. And the ball is off of the Thunder. So it's still 196, 8:26 to go. Mike says, is Jeff and Edwards still here? I have no idea. That is a good question. Hopefully they still are. But I really appreciate that they showed up tonight. But Jalen Williams with a great hook shot. He was a really good player out of Arkansas, and that's a good shot right there. 8:26 to go in the fourth. Jalen Williams with 4.7 boards and 7 assists. A solid all-around game. And CJ McCollum in the corner. 4-3. He is a great shooter. 100-99. 8 to go in the fourth, and the Thunder are clinging to a 1-point lead. They've been leading for the majority of the second half. But, wow. You've got the Pelicans making a run. Now Jalen Williams from Santa Clara on the other end. He misses the shot. And now the Pelicans with the ball. And you've got Josh Richardson with the slam dunk. 101-100. 7:50 to go in the fourth. And the Thunder, first lead for them. For the first lead for the Pelicans since 71-69. And the Thunder in a lot of trouble. Can the Thunder take back control of the game, or are they going to let it slip away? The Pelicans lead for the first time since the third quarter when it was 71-69. There seems to be an altercation at the middle of the floor. Both teams might be getting into it a little bit. That is one thing that you do see a lot of times in these heated playoff matchups. Both teams going at it. Josh Giddey's really upset about something. And he's definitely not a player that shows too much emotion. Josh Richardson's clapping on the other end. There's definitely a lot of antics going on all around. It looked like Josh Richardson maybe got a cheap shot a bit on Josh Giddey, and Josh Giddey did not like that. And then there seemed to be some altercation going on. Josh Richardson, he just ran right into Josh Giddey. That was not a smart play by Josh Richardson. I mean, I know you're just playing basketball, and sometimes, things happen. You run into a player a little bit, but I don't know about that one. That was not the best play by Josh Richardson. And I don't blame Josh Giddey for being a little upset. But you definitely don't want things to get too out of hand, too heated. This has been too good of a game for something like that to ruin the good vibes all around. But this has been a really solid game. But Josh Richardson, he might get a technical here. And that will really hurt the Pelicans because the Pelicans just took the lead. They're up 101-100. And now if Josh Giddey or someone else for the Thunder gets to shoot free throws, that will really help out the Thunder. But they're going over there to review the play. And we'll see if the Thunder shoot free throws or not. I think they might call the technical. Josh Richardson, I mean, he got a pretty good blow on Josh Giddey, and it was not in a play that really mattered, per se. You're just going up the floor. I mean, there was no contact that even needed to be had at that moment on the floor. There was nothing happening. Just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander bringing the ball up the floor, and Josh Giddey's going down the floor, and then Josh Richardson just gets him real good. But I do think Josh Giddey will be shooting some free throws. And the Pelicans fans are booing. I understand supporting their team, but I think I agree with that technical. Josh Giddey with the first free throw, and it's up and in. Mike says, what have you thought about the playing game so far? That's a good question. I think you look at the playing games, they've been really solid. I think that, it gives more teams a chance to make the playoffs. The full playoffs, the 1-8 seeds, and I think that it creates a lot more intrigue with the matchups. I mean, there are definitely some drawbacks to it. We know why it was done for the, money reasons, but still, I do think there are certain good things about it, specifically in the fact that the NBA has so many teams that are really good now that it kind of makes it worth having a play-in tournament. But it's 101 all. Josh Giddey hit the first technical free throw, but missed the second, and OKC with the ball. Jalen Williams splits the double team. He goes up strong, lays it off glass. 103-101, and the Thunder are back in front after the technical. 7:30 to go in the fourth. Both teams still have 3 timeouts, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of timeouts before this game is over. Herb Jones to Jonas. Now to C.J. McCollum. And C.J. McCollum to Trey Murphy the third, and Murphy misses the three. He's had a really solid game, but couldn't hit the shot there. And Josh Giddey turns it over. He was out of control in the middle of the lane. He knows he made a mistake. 7 to go in the fourth. Brandon Ingram's had a big game for the Pelicans. He has the basketball. He's driving in. Kicks to Jonas in the corner for 3. And Jonas Valanciunas hits the 3. And the Pelicans are back in front. You can't guard a big center like that shooting a 3. 104-103. The Thunder and Pelicans are going back and forth. What a playing game. 6:40 to go. Gilgeous-Alexander to Josh Giddey. Now to Jalen Williams. To the other Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams from Arkansas misses a 3. Back to Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. To Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey misses the bank shot. He had it. It went in and out. Pelicans ball up 1. 6:20 to go in the fourth. Brandon Ingram with the basketball. Both teams trying to slow it down and get good possession. Now, Jonas, he faked the 3 in the corner. He kicks over to Trey Murphy the third, and Trey Murphy the third is fouled. So there is a foul called there. Definitely looks like there was some contact on the drive. That was a big 3 by Jonas in the corner. I mean, that was a huge 3. He doesn't shoot threes that often, but he definitely showed right there that he can make a 3 when needed, when he is open in the corner. And it's 104-103. C.J. McCollum for 3, and his 3 is short. He's been off in this game. I think he only has like 7-8 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the other end for OKC. The Thunder are down by 1. And Jalen Williams with another 3, and he finally knocks it down. He keeps shooting the 3, and he finally hits it. Jalen Williams is a really good player out of Arkansas, and he finally got a 3 to fall. He's got 7 points. He's 1 of 7 from 3. He's definitely does not lack confidence shooting it. 106-104. The Thunder back and forth. The lead changes are going back and forth. Brandon Ingram with the ball. Brandon Ingram kicks over to Herb Jones, and Herb Jones for three, and the Pelicans are back in front. But they do have it as a 2 right now, 106-106. Maybe his foot was on the line. But what a shot there. Gilgeous-Alexander down low to Lagoons Dort, who's back in the game. Good for him. The Pelicans are calling for a travel, but they do not get on Dort. Gilgeous-Alexander to Josh Giddey, and Josh Giddey's three is short. Still 106-106. Jonas with the board. Definitely not going to let the Thunder get the ball on his rebound. He was very physical on that rebound. 4:50 to go in the fourth. Jonas Valencias has 16 points and 18 rebounds. He's had a great game. Brandon Ingram with the ball at the top of the key. He shoots the three, and it's no good. Still 106-106. 4:30 to go in the fourth. This game's going down to the wire. Well, we have overtime like Timberwolves Lakers. Who knows whether that's going to happen or not. It's been a great game, though. Jalen Williams in the lane. And Jalen Williams is short. Josh Giddey with the rebound. He misses, but he's fouled. So the Thunder will have a couple free throws. I don't know if the Pelicans really like that call, but Josh Giddey will be shooting free throws. Mike says, if you had to say right now, who are your Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals matchups? Yeah, that's a good question. I would say a lot of people are saying Suns Nuggets. I think that is very possible. I know the Nuggets, a lot of people aren't confident they can go all the way, but I think that's a very viable matchup. And obviously the easy answer for the East is the Celtics and the Bucks. You know, you don't want to go the cop out and say that's exactly what's going to happen, but they're by far the two best teams. And then I would probably have to say Celtics Suns, and I'd probably go Celtics. I really feel the Celtics have a great shot to win the whole thing. They got the deepest team in the NBA. It's going to be really interesting, though. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the NBA playoffs. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for being here, Mike. Thanks for being here, 96. Everyone that's been here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Josh Giddey with 29 points, 8 boards, and 9 assists. He has had a huge night. Big reason why the Thunder are up 2. He had to have a big game along with Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's what the Thunder have got, but they're still only up by 2. Brandon Ingram to C.J. McCollum, and McCollum into the lane, and it's a blocking foul on Jalen Williams from Arkansas. That's a tough pill to swallow for Jalen Williams. He thought potentially he had a charge there. But C.J. McCollum is so great at drawing fouls. He was outside the arc. C.J. McCollum might have been going to his left, but that definitely could have been a charge. Williams is outside the line. He might have been moving a bit to his right, though. I think he was still leaning to his right. And McCollum hits the first free throw. 108-107. The Pelicans are down by 1. 4:06 to go in the fourth, and McCollum with the chance to tie the game yet again. This game has been going down to the wire, and McCollum knocks it down. It's 108-108. 4 to go in the fourth. We might have a fantastic finish on our hands. McCollum's now at 14 points and 4 assists. Not his best game, but he's still playing solid enough for the Pelicans to get the win, potentially. But now you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to Jalen Williams, to Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey gets a screen from Jalen Williams. Giddey into the lane. Down to Lagoons Dort. And there's a dunk. 110-108. 3:46 to go in the fourth. What a play there by Josh Giddey with the assist to Lagoons Dort. Dort, Gilgeous-Alexander, and Giddey have been elite in this game. 96 said this is such a fabulous game indeed. 100%. You can't beat this. This is the two bottom teams in the West, the 10 and the 9 seed, and you're getting a great game. You got the Pelicans driving and Herb Jones. No foul call. Giddey with the board. Still tie game. 108 all. Lagoons Dort for 3, and his 3 is offline. No good. Brandon Ingram with the ball. Brandon Ingram's driving into the lane. His shot is short. He gets his own miss, and he dunks it home. What a play by Brandon Ingram. And a timeout by OKC. You definitely are going to see the timeouts being used for sure right here with not a lot of time left in this game. But wow, a back and forth game between the Pelicans and the Thunder. It's been a fantastic basketball game. You cannot beat the way these teams are playing right now. It has been some fantastic basketball, and you really can't ask for much more, due to the fact that these teams are the 9 and 10 seeds. If these matchups are this great, who knows what we're going to get when the actual playoffs start. Hopefully, they're all great matchups. I know the 1 and the 8 sometimes isn't close because it's the 1 seed versus the 8, but this has been a fantastic game here. It was a great game as well with the Lakers and Timberwolves, but it's been a lot of fun for sure. Mike says, I do think Lakers has what it takes to take out the Grizz, but yes, I think it's possible. It's probably Warriors versus Suns in the Western Conference Finals, Bucks versus Suns in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Warriors versus Bucks in the Finals. Yeah, you're going a different route. I still think the Celtics can beat the Bucks. I really do. I mean, you could be right, though. And then with the Warriors Suns are great, and if they get hot from three, they can beat anybody. But yeah, I think if Kevin Durant stays healthy, the Suns have a great chance. They got a great team, but they're going to have to stay healthy. But it should be a lot of fun. I like your picks. I think that a variety of results could happen. There's a lot of different scenarios that could occur. There's so many good teams this year. I mean, I could see as many as 7 different teams potentially in the title game. I don't know, if all 7 teams really are viable, but I could see it. I think obviously the Suns, Warriors potentially, the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Bucks, probably at the top of that list, but still, there's a lot of really good teams this year in the NBA. And that's why a lot of people are interested this year, because there's so many good teams, and that's what's going to make this so much fun to see what's going to happen, because of the fact it's not guaranteed. It's not like, as much as college football is awesome, sometimes you can just tell it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, some other team. In college basketball, you don't have that because of the parity. You have Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in the Final Four. That doesn't always happen, but it can happen. And you look at the NBA, there's a lot of parity going on right now. Yeah, it's sometimes the same teams toward the top, but there's a lot of good teams this year. And it should be very interesting to see what happens. And I'm looking forward to the end of this game as well. We're almost done with this game. And then we're going to be resuming the NBA playing on Friday. And that should be fun as well. But so many good games are going to be happening with the 2020 first round of the playoffs. But this Thunder Pelicans game has definitely delivered for sure on the action. It's been a great game. I think that both teams are showing that they potentially could belong, in the playoffs. They're playing great. I mean, the Thunder don't look like a 10 seed. Yes, their defense has struggled all year, but I think their defense is stepping up at the right time. And you look at the Pelicans, their defense is playing really solid as well. I think both teams are playing solid defense. And on the offensive end, they're also doing a really good job. Both teams. You knew the offense was going to be there, but it's about the defense. And I think the defenses for both teams has stepped up. So whoever wins this game will have a great chance to beat the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves are really struggling right now. Yes, you're going to have Rudy Gobert back, but I think overall it's not boding well for the Timberwolves based on the fact with what they have going on right now. Anthony Edwards might be banged up and not playing at his best. He's going to have to play really well to beat either of these teams, the way both these teams are playing tonight. But it's going to be very interesting indeed. 3:12 to go. And there's still a timeout. Both teams are trying to strategize their game plan right here. Both these teams trying to get a big win. I mean, this would be a huge win, because, again, if you're able to win this game, I think whoever wins this game will have a great chance to beat the Timberwolves. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to be in the playoffs, but still, this game gives you the hope that you can do it. And I think both teams are very deserving. It's one of those games where you really don't want either team to lose, how good both teams are playing. I mean, you can say that all the time. It's kind of a cliche, but both teams have played super hard. Neither team deserves to lose. And I think that that's been, a big key with the play-in for a lot of people talking about, is the play-in deserving? Well, in this particular instance, it is, because the Pelicans and Thunder wouldn't even be in the playoffs if it wasn't for the play-in, because you wouldn't have the 9 to 10 seed at all. It would just be the top 8 seeds. So, yes, this game right here, and you saw with the Raptors and the Bulls, definitely legitimizes the play-in. It makes it worth seeing the 9 and the 10 seed being in, because of the great games that we're getting out of it. So the NBA is definitely looking good and smart by adding the 9 and 10 seeds. The Thunder driving into the lane. And Josh Giddey, they called the ball off of the Pelicans when he drove into the lane. So it will remain Thunder basketball, 110 to 108, 2:55 to go in the fourth, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Thunder to inbound. Giddey, he tried to get the ball inside of Gilgeous-Alexander. And it was almost a turnover, but it will remain Thunder basketball still with 3 seconds on the shot clock now. 110 to 108. 96 is Wiggins is coming back for Golden State. Yeah, that'll be huge for them. Wiggins is a really solid player. Giddey in the corner, his three is an air ball. And they call a foul on Trey Murphy III on Lagunt's Dort on his box out. Maybe he boxed out a little bit too hard. That's a big foul there. I don't know if they're in the bonus yet, so I don't know if Dort will be shooting free throws or not. But that's huge right there. No, there's no free throws, so it's still Thunder basketball with a reset of 12 on the shot clock. And down low, Giddey to Jalen Williams for Santa Clara. We got a tie game yet again. Josh Giddey has been in command of the Thunder offense, 110 to 110. Under 2:30 to go. Jalen Williams with 11 points and 3 rebounds. Now Brandon Ingram with the basketball. He's driving and takes the mid-range pull-up, and he knocks it down for the Pelicans. 112-110. 2:10 to go in the fourth. What a basketball game. What a matchup between these two teams. Brandon Ingram, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to Jalen Williams. Over to the other Jalen Williams, and he misses. Pelicans with the rebound. Under 2 to go. Big play right there. Brandon Ingram with the basketball. Will the Pelicans get the win? Trey Murphy III with the ball back to Ingram. Ingram's been great in the second half. Ingram sizing up Gilgeous-Alexander. Ingram loses the ball. Gilgeous-Alexander with the steal. What a defensive play. Gilgeous-Alexander into the lane, and he lays it in. That is so talent right there with Gilgeous-Alexander. That was a really talented play, and we got a 112-112 ball game. 1:30 to go. Both teams are giving it everything they've got right now. This has been a great classic game. We had a great game earlier with the Raptors-Bulls, with the Bulls winning, and this one's going down to the wire. Ingram for 2, and he knocks it down. 114 to 112. 1:15 to go in the fourth. Ingram is on fire. He's hit the last 3 shots for New Orleans. And now you've got OKC with the ball. Josh Giddey. He has it, trying to make a move. He's driving into the lane. He goes up. It looks like he's going to turn around, and he fakes the shot there, gives it to Jalen Williams, and Jalen Williams in the lane. He lays it in and misses, and they call a foul on Trey Murphy. So I think that the Thunder will have some free throws. That's huge there because it was looking like for a second there that the Pelicans were going to get the ball back. But they're showing Gilgeous-Alexander's shot again. That was a great play. And then Brandon Ingram in the lane, rising up for 2. Brandon Ingram has been on fire. He's been playing some great basketball in this second half. A big reason why the Pelicans are up by 2. But Jalen Williams, his first free throw is off. You got to make your free throws in clutch moments. And now the Thunder will be guaranteed to be down by at least a point right now against the Pelicans, regardless of the second free throw. 59 seconds left in the game. Running out of time for either team. Jalen Williams, the second free throw, it's good. But still, the Thunder down by 1. 114 to 113. 59 seconds left. 55 seconds left. CJ McCollum with the ball. He's been playing some better basketball down the stretch of this game. He's got 14 points now, but it's been Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's been on fire. Now you've got Jackson Hayes into the game. Over to Herb Jones. Has been quiet since picking up his 4th foul. Now McCollum into the lane, and he misses the shot. The Thunder have a chance. 30 seconds left in the fourth. 114 to 113. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander driving in, and he scores. 96 says SGA time. What a play by Gilgeous-Alexander. 115-114. The Thunder up by 1. 28 seconds to go. And 96 is, what did I say? SGA time. 100%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing everything he possibly can to not let his team lose. Mike says, are you doing USFL prediction for this weekend? I'm definitely going to have to try to see if I can fit it in. Hopefully I can. There's just so much stuff going on, but I will definitely try. But I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you being here as well, 96. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. Like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But again, I really appreciate you guys being here. You guys are awesome. And this game right here has been awesome as well. You cannot ask for some better playing games. Yes, they're against teams that are really similar in skill. I don't think the Pelicans and the Thunder are obviously two of the top teams in the league. They're just not constructed that way at this time. But the way both these teams are playing, they belong in the playoffs the way they're playing. And I hope whoever wins, I'm really proud for them that they'll have a chance to be able to beat the Timberwolves. Hopefully the Timberwolves play great, and whoever wins that game will be in the playoffs. The 1 through 8 seeds will be complete. But this game right here has been a thriller. It's 115 to 114. The Thunder are back in front. It looked like the Pelicans maybe were starting to take complete control of the game. But then the Thunder come right back around and retake the lead again. The Thunder refused to go down. 96 says this game has been epic. I completely agree with you, 96. It's very difficult to always, brand games as classic or epic because there's been so many of them. But this game has been epic and a classic. It's been awesome. And hopefully it ends in a great way. It's going to be sad for the loser, but great for the winner. Brandon Ingram goes up strong, and his shot is no good. Thunder with the ball. 14 seconds left, and Josh Giddey's fouled. There's only 12 seconds left. Brandon Ingram has been great in this game, but he misses the shot there. And right now, the Thunder have a great chance to win and be able to move on to play the Timberwolves if Giddey can hit both of these free throws. This is huge news right here. 29 points for Josh Giddey. He has been the star of this game for the Thunder. Can he hit 2 clutch free throws? His first free throw is up and in. He's got a cool 30. 116, 114. 12 seconds to go. What a game. Both teams playing their hearts out. And then you've got Giddey hitting the second. 96, I think Ingram went to the well too many times on the fadeaway. Potentially, but unfortunately, sometimes the other phrase, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But you are absolutely right. Going to the well too many times as well. And looking at Brandon Ingram, he's making the shot, but at the worst possible time, you miss. And it comes down to the defense again. You got to get stops. And sometimes it's not even just about getting stops. It's just you got to hope the other team misses the shot. And the Thunder got a miss from Brandon Ingram at the worst time for the Pelicans. And now we've seen tons of plays. You look at the Timberwolves game. The Lakers were up 3 with 1 second. And then the Timberwolves got a foul at the end on Anthony Davis with Mike Conley with 1 second left. So obviously the 3-point lead for the Thunder is not safe. But if the Thunder get one more stop on the Pelicans, they'll be able to play the Timberwolves and have a chance to make the playoffs. This would be huge for them. Not many people were giving them a chance. Thought it'd be a runaway for the Pelicans, but this has been an absolute thriller of a basketball game, and it's going to go down to the end right here. 117, 114, Oklahoma City Thunder over the New Orleans Pelicans. It's been a fantastic basketball game. Josh Giddey has been elite. He's a rookie, but he is not playing like a rookie. And if they can get Chet Holmgren, you never know. The future could be looking up for the Thunder. They can get a healthy Chet Holmgren with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and all of the plays that Josh Giddey is making, showing how he is definitely improving as a player. The Thunder could be really good in the future. Got to improve the defense, though. But they've been solid down the stretch. But 11 seconds left, and I think they caught a foul. Maybe the Thunder had one to give there. They probably did. Otherwise, they would not have fouled there. They do. So 11 seconds. Probably did that a little too early. You kind of would like to wait and not do that, with only 1 second going off the clock. But now there's 10 seconds left, and I think they do another foul. 96 is foul, so they don't get the 3. I don't know if I like that strategy, though. I understand your point, 96, but I think, like you said, they are fouling, and now is Brandon Ingram shooting some free throws? I think he is. So they are doing the foul method. The foul method can work, But you got to make sure you box out, and then you got to make sure you make free throws on the other end, because if you don't and they hit 2 free throws and then you miss one, then you're giving them a chance to win with a 3. So you got to hope they miss if you're the Thunder. Ingram's first free throw is no good, and there you go. Now the foul method works. Now the foul method works because he just missed the free throw. Now the Thunder are in great shape. That's a huge miss for New Orleans. Ingram's had a great game, but he's missed 2 big shots, a free throw and that last fadeaway jumper. His second free throw. The Pelicans down 3, 10 seconds to go. 96 is wild. Brandon Ingram missed the free throw. It's unbelievable. He does hit the second. So it's 117 to 115, timeout Thunder. So there's 10 seconds left. But if the Thunder hit 2 free throws on the other end, they've got the game more than likely. Ingram had to hit both to put the pressure on Oklahoma City to have to hit some free throws, but they weren't able to do it because, unfortunately, for the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram missed the free throw. That's tough. He does look fatigued, though. He's had to play a full game. But if you want to advance, you got to make shots. And it's 117, 115, Oklahoma City over the Pelicans. And this game is going down to the buzzer, it seems. It's been a great basketball game. Definitely the kind of game a lot of people were hoping for. 96 says, if OKC holds on, who are you taking, Oklahoma City or Minnesota? I would say as of right now, I'd probably lean Oklahoma City, because Minnesota has not looked like a confident basketball team. Anthony Edwards is really struggling. Hopefully he can get back together, and he seems a little hurt right now. And then you look at, Rudy Gobert. Could he have a little potential rust for missing a game? Maybe not. But that whole situation is kind of a cloud on that team right now. Hopefully they can get it figured out. They still won't be 100%. But I do think that overall, I will lean Oklahoma City right now, even though their defense still has some struggles. But I think Minnesota can win, but I'll probably lean Oklahoma City as of right now. That's a great question, though. And what a pass inside. What a pass out from Giddey to Gilgeous-Alexander. And Gilgeous-Alexander tried to go inside and lay it in, but there was a rejection by the Pelicans. But did they call a foul? It was a great pass. Gilgeous-Alexander winning. That has to be a foul on Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson fouled him real hard. Yeah, that has to be a foul. He fouled him really hard. He was going up, and he got him on the arm. That was not a clean block. So I think Gilgeous-Alexander will have 2 free throws. And if he hits both of these, they don't even have Gilgeous-Alexander going on the line. That's actually incorrect because he got fouled going up. But they got Lagunes-Dort at the line. And Lagunes-Dort hits the free throw, so it doesn't even matter for the Thunder. But it should have been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He got hacked. But now Lagunes-Dort, if he hits this second free throw, then the Thunder have this game more than likely. He's got 26 points. Lagunes-Dort, he got hit real hard by Brandon Ingram earlier in this game, and thankfully for Lagunes-Dort, he was okay and able to come back out. But he could have the free throw to win the game for Oklahoma City. His shot is up. And it goes in. It rattled in and out and in. 119, 115, 7 seconds to go. And could the Thunder hold on? It's looking like they have a great chance to win here. Only 7 seconds left. Brandon Ingram for 3. And he knocks it down, though. Unbelievable. 96, I think it was Lou Dort laughing a lot. Yeah, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander drove into the lane, and that should have been a foul. There's no way. Like, he got fouled really hard on that drive. Alexander should have been the one to shoot it, but they did not call that foul, and then they let Lagunes-Dort go to the line. But that is unbelievable of Brandon Ingram. And technically, you could argue Lagunes-Dort touched him on the arm. They could have called an and-1 there. It would have been a 4-point play, but they don't call it. And Gilgeous-Alexander shoots the free throw on the other end. I understand Brandon Ingram's frustration there. I mean, he technically got fouled on the elbow there. Ingram made a big shot. You are absolutely right, 96. That was a huge shot, but he has an argument for the 4-point play. But Gilgeous-Alexander hits both free throws. It's 121, 118. Can Ingram do it again? Can the Pelicans work some magic and hit another big 3? 3 seconds left, and there's a turnover. They tried to throw it to C.J. McCollum running up the floor, and Herb Jones turns it over. That is tragic for the Pelicans. Absolutely tragic. He was trying to throw it to C.J. McCollum, him running up the floor so he could get a running start for a 3. And unfortunately, he overthrew him. 2.8 seconds left, and the Thunder can run this out. 96 says New Orleans with the implosion on the inbound. Who does this laughing all? That was terrible. And they call a foul, but if Gilgeous-Alexander, who this time will be going to the foul line, if he hits one, it's over. If he hits one free throw. That is so unfortunate for the Pelicans. You got to give so much credit to Brandon Ingram. He played so hard, and the Pelicans did everything they possibly could to win this game. Props to both teams for playing as hard as they have. It's been a fantastic game. Gilgeous-Alexander, his first free throw is up and in. It's 122 to 118. There's 2 seconds left. And Gilgeous-Alexander, he might not have been the absolute star for the Thunder, but he had a great game, and he hits the second. 123-118, but Josh Giddey was fantastic, and so was Lagoons Dort. The three-way play of all those players was elite for the Thunder, and the Thunder win. 123-118, and both 10 seeds advance to the next round. The Chicago Bulls and the 10 seed in the East, and Oklahoma City, the 10 seed in the West, are both moving on. First time that a 10 seed is won on either side. That is incredible. Brandon Ingram tried. It's really unfortunate for the Pelicans. They gave it their all, but what a win by the Thunder. Gilgeous-Alexander, Lagoons Dort, and Josh Giddey were all fantastic. And now Minnesota and Oklahoma City will play Friday night on ESPN at 9:30. This is going to be crazy. Awesome game. Mike says, wow, Skip Bayless admitted OKC over Pelicans and SGA over Brandon Ingram's on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's insane. He called it right, but the Thunder beat the Pelicans. 96 is what a game from Josh Giddey, Lagoons Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it was required. They had to play well. It couldn't just be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Otherwise, there was no way that the Thunder were going to be able to win. But they got the job done. 96, so that's what the plan was made for, laughing a lot. More chaos, more teams getting a chance to be able to win. And you can see it. The 10 seeds are really good. There's more great teams in the NBA than there ever has. And the play-in, I definitely see why it was made. I actually think it is well-deserved based off what we're seeing here. These teams were playing hard. The Thunder deserved a chance. The Ohio State said both 10 seeds won tonight. Crazy. Unbelievable. Edward said, what a game. I 100% agree. Mike said, I really thought the Raps were going to win for sure. Me too, but they couldn't make free throws. That's the thing. If they had made their free throws, they'd have easily had it. But that's where, when you have the play-in, it's like March Madness. One bad game, you're out. You got to play well. And I don't even think the Pelicans played bad, but the Thunder played fantastic. Dort, Gilgeous-Alexander, for sure, were awesome. And so was Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey is a bright future, I think, in the NBA. He looks like a player that's definitely improving overall, and he played fantastic for the Thunder. And now the Thunder have a great chance to beat the Timberwolves and be able to make the actual playoffs with the 1 through 8 seeds. The Thunder have been a great story. So are the Bulls, and it's been a lot of fun to see. The play-in is awesome. Mike says if it wasn't for DeRozan's daughter screaming, they may have made enough free throws. That's a good joke right there for sure. I think that she did a really good job supporting her dad. DeMar DeRozan was awesome. But both these games tonight were great. I definitely see why the play-in was made. It's making for some great basketball games, and the NBA is getting better and better with more great teams. But I really appreciate all you guys being here tonight. You guys made this an awesome stream. Hopefully we'll be back soon, maybe do some more games. It should be a lot of fun, but I really appreciate all you guys for being here. Thank you, Jeff, Edward, the Ohio State for the win, 96, Esco-X, and Buckeye Mike. Thank you guys all so much for being here. But what a game. A 123-118 win for the Oklahoma City Thunder over the New Orleans Pelicans. What a big win. It was a great game overall, and I'm looking forward to doing some more games, hopefully. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for being here. Great stream. Take care. Nice to see Josh getting into that Super Max. He keeps this up for sure. Mike, he will definitely deserve it. Mike's have a good one, Jared. Be in touch, bro, for sure. Thank you, Mike, for being here. I really appreciate all you guys for being here. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. But what a great win for the Thunder, 123-118 over the Pelicans. What a game. And the NBA playoffs are just beginning, and it should be a lot of fun from here. Thanks for being here, everybody.